Yeah, episode 3 was literally just that. If you listen to it, it was just we're
gonna talk
drinking
about this.
beers, and
Yeah.
like don't even know what we're talking about anymore. And I don't know.
Yeah, it's
I
a
like
nice
the
evolution though.
Oh,
Yeah.
your card's not working.
the which one?
Card? Oh shit, it's protected.
Oh shit.
Let me use the restroom real fast.
Okay, shoot.
I love that, dude.
All right.
Thanks, bro. Yeah, dude. I
Recording.
I made that. Oh shit. Well, welcome to the show first.
Wow, thanks for having me, bro.
I feel like back in February, this is when we sort of like initiated contact. Like,
Yeah.
hey, you should come on the show.
Yeah.
And you said you weren't ready yet.
Yeah, wasn't.
Yeah. But you're here now,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
So,
Totally here.
yeah. Before we got on, I was talking. I was hanging out with Kiko, man, and I haven't seen him in a few months, and I'm starting to realize how easy it is to stay connected, even though you don't like see people, right? Hey, what's up with the sound? Can you turn up the microphone?
You're on?
Yeah, because it's a little dim on. There you go.
That.
Yeah. Just try and keep it at that level there. Yeah, dude, I'm getting into the habit of sending voice messages to people.
Right.
I feel like it's easy, one-way communication
Mm-hmm.
that's easily conveyable of the emotion you're feeling.
Yeah, the tone.
Yeah, the tone. It's better than just saying, "Hey, what's up?" on text, right?
Yeah.
So,
Definitely, it has a lot of dynamic too. So you can say like, "Hey, what are we gonna have for dinner?" You know,
yeah.
somebody will be like, "Oh, what's for dinner?" Oh, maybe I don't know. I was thinking about dinner. But if you just type it, I mean, you could type anything and they'll be like, I don't know. They can read it wrong. They could read it like, you can't convey sarcasm or a lot of things through text.
Yeah, and even if you're trying to go for the long strung out, so say you're like arguing with somebody too, right? It's probably like a good way to like just be like get your point across without having to hear someone say hear someone rebuttal in the middle of your point and your argument, right?
I thought this was funny because Dean was saying, like, when you're reading something and then you're already thinking about your rebuttal before you're done, while you're reading it, before, like, on Facebook, about like how he's like a, like,
right.
What is it? Keyboard
warrior.
It's like, I am a keyboard warrior. I was like, I thought that was funny. I was just listening to it today, but it's like when people are reading, then they see, they're already responding while they're reading it. But with the voice note, you can like you're saying with Kiko, you haven't seen him in like 3 months.
Yeah.
You can send this and he's gonna have to listen all the way until he can be like, dude, I miss you too. this and that, and then try to respond to all of the things you just said. He can't go in the middle and be like, no, but hey, but yeah, but that,
And that's the thing, as the sender of such a message, you have to keep in mind that it's almost like you cannot try to express 3 different things or 5 different things. It has to just be straightforward, to the point, right? Bottom line and up front.
Right.
But
that's cool.
Yeah,
it's a nice feature on the WhatsApp.
Yeah, dude. I mean, look how much WhatsApp has taken control, right? Billions of messages sent a day.
Dude, it gets weird because then you start looking at, okay, why is it free?
Right.
It was free, and then Instagram bought it for like $24 billion.
Right.
Why do you buy an application for $24 billion if people can buy it for free? People can get it off the App Store for free.
It's data.
It's like, okay, well, what's going on here? You know?
Yeah, I think you're buying the data.
Right.
It's the reason why when you type something or when you say something in WhatsApp, you start getting ads on Instagram.
Yes.
And Facebook.
Yes, it's all tied together.
Right. Everything is strung together, and that's the weird thing.
Yeah, that's why people. My friend, he's not really like when he watches YouTube, he's like, man, why am I getting all this stuff, man? About Luth Norio and how do why am I see all this politics? And I'm like, dude, because they're selling your location.
Right.
So then they sell the they're like, oh, what's the location? Where's the advertisements that are local to this location? Okay, put those out, and then that's how they make money off of that too.
Right.
The advertisements through YouTube.
Right.
So he's like, I just want to watch this show. I don't want to watch.
It's targeted based on your location. And if it really bothered you, what a lot of people didn't realize is you just got to change your location on YouTube to watch watching. You'll get different videos, of course, but you'll still be able to search up the things you want to search up.
Yeah.
But you're just watching it from a different region.
Right.
And so say you choose Japan, you'll get Japanese ads.
That's funny. Yeah, I didn't even think about changing that. Yeah, that's cool. I saw the Supra. It surprised me because for the first time ever, I saw this advertisement. I'm like, I'm going to watch this 5 minute. It was a Supra advertisement, Supra footwear, skateboarding.
Yeah.
Why am I not going to watch 5 minutes of skateboarding advertisement, sitting there all right, well, what do we got here?
You were a skater, Adam?
Oh, yeah, I'm still a skater.
You're still a skater?
Always, yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. Since I was 6 years old, I've been a skateboarder. Yeah.
I started skating when I was 11 through a guy that my sister used to date.
Oh, sweet.
And he was older, and he just introduced it to me. Skateboarding, punk rock music. Everything ties in together.
Package.
Yeah, degeneration. Just delinquency, right?
Yep.
Like just seeing kids being delinquents, and then it's something that stuck with me. I was into surfing and skating for a long time. Yeah. And what kept you in it? Because I just fell out of it. I was tired of getting hurt, dude.
Well, see, that's the thing. My dad got me a board when I was 6. I guess he took a trip to the States one time and brought me back this board. I forget who it was, but it was a fishtail. So I had the flat tail, and it was, I don't know exactly who it was. Mike McGill. It was a skull with snakes coming out of the eyes. The old school board. And this was in, 6 years old, 90. I'm born in 92, so 98. I got my first board. And then I really didn't think he knew what that entailed.
98, my first board. I was 98 is my first board, man. Yeah. I was 11.
Cool. Yeah, I don't think he knew what that entailed because he got me a board, and then I started trying to go off curbs, and he's like, oh God, what did I do?
Yeah.
Now my son, who I love, is risking his life doing this with this toy I got him, but it wasn't a toy anymore. It was the holy grail of fun,
Right.
So I got a bike, but it's funny because my stepdad actually, my parents got split when I was 5.
Okay.
You have that weird, I don't know if you've ever gone through this, but there's this thing where when parents split where my stepdad was trying to win me over with stuff.
Okay.
But I got you a bike. And so I didn't want to learn how to ride the bike because I got a skateboard. So in the middle of the night one time, I knew he was like, okay, tomorrow, we're gonna try to go down this hill on your bike and learn. So I popped the tire. Oh, in the middle of the night, I was like, I don't want to learn. Popped it, I didn't want to learn, dude. I was like, these wheels don't pop. Skateboarding, it's good. I like this,
Yeah.
I popped the tire, and the next day he's like, what happened here? And I was like,
long
I don't
story.
know. He's like, there's a perfect hole right here. And I'm like, I don't know. I used one of those really small Chinese screwdrivers my dad had. I just popped the tire. I don't know why. Then he got I eventually learned how to ride a bike because, he's like, oh, let's just change the inner tube. Oh, God. I didn't know they're $6.
Yeah. Couldn't get around that one.
Yeah.
I thought it was just tire. You didn't know it was tire in a tire.
Yeah, didn't know. didn't know that. But why I kept with skating is because, oh, man. I don't know. It was a thing. Every year, my dad and I would never go to school on my birthday. I'd always skip school. Yeah. And you'd take me and we'd get a new complete board. We'd watch a movie, go to GameWorks when GameWorks was a thing.
Yeah, download hookups.
Download hookups. And then when there was...
Remember that, Matt?
Right? Yep. Matt knows. Download hookups when they had the skate shop in the spot, right when you walk into the mall, or GPO on the left. It was the first
where Ross is at right now.
Yes. Yeah. Well, no, that was... they moved a couple times. But I remember there was a Vans store. There was even a Vans shoe store in GPO at one point. But right when you walk from across from Ruby Tuesday, where it is now, and you go into that entrance, it was the first store, it was the first one on the left. That was where down the hookups, and then they moved to where Ross is now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But they moved a couple times in GPO.
And they had the skate park in the back.
Dude, they totally did.
Yeah.
Like, whoa. Who gets to skate in that? Like the cool people.
And you never see anybody skate in it.
No.
Never.
Probably super liability issues. Like, who's going to go there? Nobody. Nobody's going.
It's just for show.
Yeah, it's just for show.
Yeah.
But it was like a cage, and it was like, oh, there's coping. This is the only bank I ever saw with coping. Like, there's no marks on it. Man, you know? I think they ended up at the projects, but that's also another thing that I missed. Because there was another skate, like a Compadres Mall.
Yeah.
There was Road Rash. It was a skate shop, super small skate shop
Okay,
on
I
one
remember
side.
that, yeah.
And then on the opposite end, it was the projects, the skate park,
Okay.
indoor skate park. But it was the party system. So my dad, you know, he would be like, I'm going to go do laundry for 4 hours, drop you off, $5 an hour. Here, $20, let the kids skate, whatever, blah, blah,
Yeah,
blah, blah.
yeah.
And they had enough like ramps so you could skate for 4 hours, whatever. But then the party's like, dude, just let me get a Gatorade for free. Just let me, you know, come on, an hour, 2 hours. And so everybody started skating for free. They couldn't pay rent. And then it closed down. And it was such a bummer, dude, because I was like, we had it. we beat the rain, you know?
Compadres Mall, right? Compadres Mall
Yep.
is the...
And Harmon Loop.
Yeah. They had their heyday. I remember... I mean, it still gets crowded, but...
Yeah.
I mean, I remember when they had everything there. I think I bought my first dog there.
No way.
Yeah, they had a pet store there.
No way. That's
But
cool.
anyways, skateboarding.
Yeah. So
Sorry.
I don't know how I mean, it just never, it never died. It was like, every year I would get a new board. And then, my dad used to work, he managed the quality pools, in Tamuning. And this guy, I know you probably know Addy from the surf community. Addison.
I know of him. Yeah.
Okay. So
yeah.
he was working for my dad, like, you know, like concrete blasting.
Yeah, he's
pools
a handyman himself.
Yeah, for sure. So concrete blasting pools, you know, like building pools and like, you know, cleaning and servicing pools and stuff. And he was a skater. I mean, he's still a skater. So he would like give me his extra boards. And one day my dad, you know, he would always try to deter me because he'd be seeing me do stupid stuff like you're bombing hills and shredding your knees off. Like, okay, well, when you gotta, how am I gonna like punish you so that you can't get this toy that you fell in love with that I bought you? Like it was kind of like because he would see me on the couch and I would wake up and like Addy would leave me a board, but then my dad's like, you can't skate, you're grounded from skating. And I'm like, what? Why? And because my whole shins and my legs, all the way my ankles are just black and blue and purple. And he's like, look at this, you can't go to school like this. And I'm like, I'll just wear pants. Like,
you got ground beef for legs.
Yeah, you can't skateboard until this heals up. I'm like, then that doesn't make sense. It's just gonna go back. So, but every year he bought me a board, and then you know, eventually, because I was here, I'm in born and raised, and then I went off island for middle school and I came back.
Okay.
But when I went out there, it was like, dude, Arizona's got the best.
Where'd you stay in Arizona?
Chandler.
Okay.
I stayed in Chandler and Mesa. Yeah.
Okay.
So it was really
For those who don't know, it's a little south of Phoenix.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Suburb of Phoenix. Pretty cool. Just as hot, you know.
Right.
Beautiful place.
I stayed in Tucson for 5 years.
Yeah, I know that. That's a really cool. That's a really cool thing that we had in common because you stayed in Arizona. From all the podcasts I listened to, you went to school out there and worked out there. So that's really cool.
It was an experience. I hated it. Absolutely hated it when I got out there. But I fell in love with it. You know, it's like
the moment you walk out of the plane, you're like, dude, what? Just the little gap, bro. The little gap between the plane and the walkway. You're like, was that a sliver of hell? I think I just got a sliver of hell. My dude,
did someone open the oven?
Yeah,
because
permanently for real.
Hot.
In the shade, doesn't matter. No wind. 1 inch of rain a year. Gee,
I beg to differ, though. In Tucson, you go under the shade, it's like
better,
4 or 5 degrees cooler. I mean, I wasn't holding a thermometer, but it felt significantly cooler.
Right.
Or you can sort of make that.
I just couldn't handle it because, you know, growing up on Guam, it's so, you know, like moisture in your skin, and then you go out there and it's like
dry as fuck.
Okay, the webbings of my toes and my fingers are cracking and bleeding, and I have to get lotion and chapstick. This is not the place to voluntarily live.
Why'd you move out there?
Well, I wasn't voluntarily living there. Yeah, so I was with, you know, it was getting kind of like after 5th grade, I guess here. My dad tried to go out and work in. It just wasn't working out here. He tried to go work out, and we stayed with my grandma in Santa Fe, New Mexico.
Okay.
And so, You know, he ended up like pounding, like, dude, he ended up pounding like fox fences into the ground in like in the winter for work. Like, just can't get a job there. I mean, he always made a joke about Santa Fe because it's a very rich kind of artsy fartsy, you know, kind of place. But it's either you're super rich, you're super poor, or you're gay or lesbian, but if you're any of those, you drive a Subaru. Like, everybody drives a Subaru. There's crazy people like walking around barefoot, going to the Georgia O'Keeffe Museum, and they're like, it's just like this weird melting pot of people, and it's beautiful, you know. But it's like you made it, you have a million, you know, plus mansion on Canyon Road and like downtown Santa Fe, or you're super broke and you can't get a job over the dude that's like 70 years old greeting at Walmart. You can't get a job.
Yeah.
So it's like.
And the 70-year-old dude at greeting at Walmart's probably drives a Subaru too, and he's rich.
Everybody. He just has that job just to fuck around. He's like, oh, I just want to say hi to all the people, you know. It's all good. He owns the farm where you're pounding the fucking fox. Yeah. It's kind of still. That's the dynamic there. So it's like we were there, and then I would drive over, and it's a beautiful drive from New Mexico into Arizona. It's so great because you go through Flagstaff, and there's a town called Snowflake. Greatest Burger King ever in the whole history of all the Burger Kings I went to. We stopped at one Burger King. So nice. I was like, all these people are so nice. I'm pretty sure the whole town's nice, and they just have a Burger King that nice people work at. You know, I don't know why I remember that, but Snowflake is a beautiful place. I don't know if anybody is from Snowflake.
I've never been to Snowflake.
It's like this passer-through town, whatever. So you go through there, and then Flagstaff, and you come down. It's so nice, and Sedona, and then you're like, okay, remind me why we're in Phoenix. Like, why did we end up here?
Sedona's really beautiful too, and that's like the Flagstaff is the last of the deciduous trees.
Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. And the greenery, and then all of a sudden it's just like, the fuck happened?
Yeah. Like, there's tumbleweed. It's a thing. Damn. Okay. Don't roll the window down.
Rows of cactus and dusty.
Oh, right. Yeah. This is new. But it's crazy because when you're coming from the road, I guess there's this one turn where my dad's like, all right, now we go in a straight line. The roads are going to curve, but we go in a straight line. And then the very next turn that we take is like to the apartment complex to his brother's place, my Uncle James.
Well,
it's like, what? How many miles is that? He's like, 138. And then we take one left turn. Like, we're going to go straight on this road in between these two lines. And then we're going to go through one traffic light and then take a left turn. And we're at this apartment complex. Like, okay, what am I doing? I'm trying to put this like, he's listening to talk radio, of course. I'm trying to put this like model car Back to the Future I got for Christmas together because I'm so bored out of my mind. It's a 10-hour drive. I'm like trying to put this car together. He let me open one. He's like, okay, you can open one, you know, before we get there. You're going to be bored. It's like, dude, such a nice drive. And then after you get past Sedona, it's like,
yeah, it's just dull.
Yeah, I don't know about this anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's how it is when you drive from Tucson to Phoenix, and it's just like, god dang.
Yeah.
But they estimate by 2050 Tucson and Phoenix will be it'll be a megatropolis.
Dude, for real.
Yeah.
For real. It's growing rapidly. It's so stupid.
Is it? I haven't been there since 2012.
You just fly. You just get out of like Sky Harbor Airport. Like if you just get out of Phoenix, you're just like, oh, okay. Whoa, all this development. It's like the valley. Everything's gonna be crazy. People,
they've extended east already then.
Well, they have like I remember in Chandler, you'd be seeing all these golf courses going up, and they have like these.
When's the last time you were there?
2013. I flew into there. Yeah.
Okay.
So it was like 5 years.
Yeah, I'll be there next month.
Oh, okay,
so
cool.
I'm excited to see.
Yeah.
You know how much at least Tucson has grown.
Yeah, I mean, you said by 2050 they said?
Yeah.
Dude, it's going to be crazy by 2050. There's so many people. It's like
they'll probably have to like move up, right?
Yeah.
Up.
Yeah, dude, people are like, "Oh, it's so nice in the winter." It's like, "Yeah, dude, 76 and like, you know, nice degrees. You get up and it's like super cold at night. You can ride your bike in the morning and everything's fine and dandy in the winter. People buy winter houses there."
Right.
In Arizona.
Right.
And then
snowbirds.
Yeah, and then, you know, summer comes around and then all the water parks open because they have to, or else your kids will die.
Yeah.
Like, we have to have these. They save lives. You need this.
We need to quench everybody's skin.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I don't know why. That's why I'm like, I don't know why anybody would voluntarily live there. But I know they like take like really good care of like their state programs or like their schools. They're like Like all the playing courts and the skate parks are like next level. Dude.
Yeah.
Super next level.
Yeah.
The transportation you can get on. I was like Saturday morning, 6:15 Metro, 65 cents. I'll ride like I don't even know how many miles, and then I'll skate 1 block, which is a mile, to the baddest skate park within 50 miles, and skate until 8 p.m. and then take the ride up, take the same bus down, boom, dropped off right there next to my house. Like that's great, you know. But you're on the bus with all these like sketchy people, you know. As a little kid, you know, I was a fat little like middle schooler, so I have the skateboard, and one day I missed the bus. And I like had to skate like 4 miles in the dark, like, you know, and like I ate shit, dude. I like crashed on this rock. I hit this rock, pebbles. They're all, I mean, rocks in Arizona is like, they're everywhere. It's crazy.
Yeah, it was in Arizona where my love for skating sort of transitioned into a love for longboarding, bombing hills.
Right.
You know, so it's just like, in Tucson, it's basically in the mountains, right?
Right.
So hills everywhere, and that was the thrill we seeked. I mean, I had a couple of my cousins out there, and actually Matt's brother.
Oh, dope.
We're both like heavy into skating. Came out, we hang out with kids, skating and stuff, and then all of a sudden we're bombing fucking big ass hills on the turnpike, so on Mount Lemon and stuff. And I don't know. Those were the thrill seekers, dude. I mean, that was the way we seeked thrills when we were out there.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I guess it's funny because this guy was trying to seek some thrills that night. I ate shit, you know, and this little innocent like kid, you know, eat shit on the sidewalk. This guy like drove up. This is typical states, like can't trust nobody.
Right.
Hey, I saw you fall back there. Do you need a ride? And I was like, no, I'm good. It's like trying to fucking kidnap me, bro.
Shit,
like,
bro, you're almost a victim.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know,
you were almost a fucking statistic.
I mean, at least I think that's funny because on one side, it's either way, you're gonna be on one side of the statistic. You know, I always thought that was funny. It's like, don't be a statistic. It's like, but if 65% is gonna be the other side of the, you know, come on. 35 on the other side.
But
I feel you.
Usually the other side is the better side you want to be on.
Yeah, the one that doesn't get kidnapped because they shit on a skateboard riding at 8:50 p.m. because they missed the bus by 15 minutes. You want to be on that side.
And said yes to Mr. Harry on the ride.
Sure, Mr. Man. I'll take your candy. So that was kind of like, no. And then I just ran. I no skateboard. I just started running. Like, maybe he was a nice dude who's like, I see that young fellow, but I'm not gonna get.
And that's what all those other kids were thinking too.
Like, sweet tarts are nice. No, sir, no.
I like candy.
Yeah, no, not fun. But it was crazy because it's kind of full circle. First time we got out there, we're on the freeway going to my uncle's house. The very first night I arrived in Arizona ever, because we got to Arizona after trying to be in New Mexico for a while, and then when we got to Arizona, I was like, Dad, gotta pull over. He's like, there's a lady who's like pulled over, flat tire, and he's like, son, it's just not the same out here. People can be baiting you. They could be psycho. They could be waiting to kidnap you, trap you, murder you on the side of the highway.
That lady will be like, oh boy, here, let me get the things in the trunk. Poop. And there's a dude there with the gun.
Half a day. So last time.
Half a day, motherfucker.
Boom. You're done, son. Yeah. So I realized very quick, just in that one moment, like, oh, we can't help people on the side of the road. It's not the same here.
Yeah.
You know, like, it's not Guam. He's like, dude, it's not Guam. It's like, all right, well, okay. And then when I was staying with my stepdad and my mom, so it's crazy, real quick. My parents got a divorce and then 10-year hiatus and then got remarried.
Nice.
Like, I don't know. That's cool. I was like, they were like, how do you feel about it? I'm like, fuck, dream come true. I guess, you know, like, I don't know. You guys do your thing, regardless of what I think. Whatever, dude. Like,
you guys are grown adults.
Yeah, don't ask me about it. Shit, you know. But that's cool with me.
How do you feel?
Cool. That's great. You know, like, is it weird? Like, no. Yeah, you guys figured out your problems. You know,
dream come true.
Dream come true. Ta-da! We're back at square one. You know. So when I was with my stepdad and my mom, this is when we moved to Mesa. It was right off the freeway. Some lady pulled up and her tire was like cluck, 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 cluck. And I was like, oh shit! I go to help her. She has a Guam sticker. I'm like, yeah, the first person I get to help is from Guam, dude. Nice. I was so stoked. Because you see like Guam flags, I would see a Guam flag, and I'm like, we gotta go to that house, dude. We gotta go like bring them kadu or something, you know?
Yeah.
So my stepdad would go over there, and then
was it a culture shock for you? I mean, just growing up in Guam's
from the
culture,
ranch
right?
to like, yeah, it was kind of like,
Because it was for me, you know, even with just the weather alone.
oh yeah, I could feel.
Got out of the airport, I was like, what the fuck did
Yeah.
I get myself into?
I noticed that the whole weather thing when I came back. When I came back and instantly I walked out of the airport and my skin was breathing again, I'm like,
Huh.
oh, dude,
You're saturated.
I'm home. Yeah. But as far as the people and stuff, definitely like, so it's weird here. Like when I was going to Machinau, I mean, I'm like this like white kid, you know, but my mom's like Scandinavian Chamorro. So
Okay.
I was always the outcast, but I grew up in
Right.
in the ranch where there's like 13 houses around in like Chalindegu, like off, you know, and like Matagwak and Jigo. And it's like, that's all my family, you know, Evangelista. Like there's just fucking
Yeah.
so many houses.
You
like,
just happen to be the white kid.
yeah, the only white kids. So
Right.
even my cousins would be like, get out of here, dirty white boy.
Yeah.
You know, don't want to hang out with you, you know. So at school, it was like, you know, I was just the white kid. It's like, oh, you're the token white kid
Yeah.
nobody hangs out with
You're
in a school
You're
of
the white kid
Chamorros.
that hangs out with the Chamorros.
Yeah,
right?
like you're the one white kid we don't like when everywhere else in the world it's like the opposite, you know? So I go, I'm like, this is fucking weird. So I go to like New Mexico and all like the, you know, the Spanish kids or whatever, like and the Mexican kids, they just picked on me because I was a fat white kid, and I get it, you know, it's no big deal. And also I have this giant birthmark on my face.
Uh-huh.
That didn't get me any like
It
no
didn't
pop,
help
no
your- it
no
didn't help
no
your
cool
cause?
point, no cool points, bro.
Oh man.
You know, Mike Myers came out with that mole. That was
right.
that, I got over that like pretty quick because there was this one kid who was just like, he just did it every day, and I'm like, dang,
Yeah.
no creativity.
Yeah.
Still, I'm so happy that you just burned that into my brain where it's like not even affecting me anymore.
Right.
But yeah, in New Mexico, it was kind of like, okay, there's a lot of heritage, there's a lot of culture though, because it's like New Mexican people, they're like you know, there's a lot of Native American tribes there, so you learn about all these different things and all these different
it's
people.
still cultured.
Yeah,
I mean, you
Yeah.
said it yourself, artsy fartsy.
super. So like, but then in Arizona, it was like, I'm not saying Arizona is like a privileged state, but dude, I was in middle school, so anywhere you go in middle school, there's gonna be a bunch of knuckleheads.
Yeah.
It's like, man, there's a lot of privileged little shits, you know, like, oh, if I was just a little stronger, if I was just a little cool, you gotta pick on me, man. Even like, and they'd live on your street and you'd ride the bus, and it's like they just spread rumors about you. Middle school's middle school, whatever.
Yeah.
But as far as
I
culture,
never experienced school out in the States, so it was always, I went to public school from kindergarten to 5th grade, and then
right,
private school the rest of my life.
right. Out there, it was, I mean, just the people, the way they act, it wasn't the same. Very good example about culture shock is my stepdad had this friend who was in the glass business. He would, you know, like windows and doors and shit.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people have nice houses with a lot of huge glass, you know, everywhere. So he like made a pretty good living. And so like my stepdad, he was a self-employed tile guy. So they were like buddies. All the houses that needed tile where that guy Darren was doing his glass work, like they had worked together. So they're really good friends.
Right.
And then we went and spent one Thanksgiving, dude. We went and spent a Thanksgiving at his parents' house. And it was cool. We're in the backyard and like the diving board, and we're swimming, and there's trampoline, and all the kids are having fun. We're all playing, and we made food. We bula fucking like barbecue, bro. We made a bunch. And then we went to go bring the food inside, and they're like, oh, no, you people can eat outside.
Wow.
And like, my mom was like, my stepdad turned to me and was like, get the fuck in the van. We're leaving now.
Yeah.
You know, he's like, get the kids from the, get down from the trampoline. We're done. We're done here. I was like, what's going on? Heat up the van. Heat up the van. You know, we're like heating up the van, and he's like, sorry guys, but we're going to take our food and we're going to go back home. These people just don't want us here. And it was like very professional about it. Like he was trying to be like, not everybody's, I promise. He felt bad that we had to go through that. He's like, not everybody's like this, you know. Don't think that these people, like all of these people out here in the States are like this, but you know, I didn't know. We were surprised too. Like, and then, you know, Darren came out and he was like, oh, you know, sorry, man. You know, my parents are whatever, they're old fashioned or whatever. It's like my stepdad's Chamorro Cherokee, you know?
Yeah. They were white.
Yeah. So it's like, you know, Chamorro Cherokee guy, whatever, tattoos. And he's like, you know, with his brown daughter and his brown wife. And it's like, you know, you guys can eat, you people can eat outside. And my mom was just like,
Wow.
Well, now we realize we would rather fucking eat on. We would rather eat on the ground instead of being in your house, you know. So it's kind of like, okay, whatever.
You know what? We'll go eat in the car.
We'll just go to KFC.
Heat up the van right now.
We'll go to KFC and just sit down and give free food to the fucking people at KFC, Chamorro Barbecue and Red Rice. You know, like we'd rather do that with people that would appreciate it. So we just removed ourselves from the situation. That was like one thing that was a culture shock. I realize now when you ask, like, oh yeah, that was a big culture shock. Like, oh, they don't want us to. Oh, because you guys are different colored. Oh, that's fucking stupid. Like.
Yeah, the racism.
Yeah.
Blatant racism.
Yeah. Yeah. Just a little bit. Yeah.
My first cookout that I went to, I was confused because we drove to this lake, and this was in the Bay Area, and I was probably a junior in high school, and so we drove out there, and I was wondering the whole time. I was like, why do we have a container of meat? And it's like, it was a Chamorro barbecue, bring your own meat. And I was just like, huh? What the hell is this? And it was just the most confusing thing for me. And then, you know, you just realize, you know, as big as the States is, you're never going to get the kind of culture that is here. Right. You know, that tight knit, we'll take care of you. There's enough for everybody kind of mentality, right?
Right.
In a place that is so big, it's every man for himself.
Definitely is like that. There's this one event though. I didn't understand why we're driving so far. Chamorro Easter at this giant park. The park there was like all four walls caved down like this, like super grass, and it was just the most giantest park ever. And it was this one, like all the Chamorros that are in Phoenix just like get together and go to spend Easter and have this giant Easter egg hunt. We went there like 2 years in a row, and I was like, damn, there's a Chamorro community in Phoenix. Like,
dude, there's Chamorro communities everywhere.
It's crazy.
And not just Chamorro communities.
Yeah.
Just Guamanian communities. Yeah. And I think I want to say it's like 5 times as big as the amount of people here on Guam, you know, that call Guam home.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's mind-blowing.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. I know there's I saw one. I don't even know what it was. Like Facebook. I'm not on Facebook anymore. I haven't been for like 5 years. But when I was on there, I saw this Liberation Day, Revolution playing the Guam Liberation Day parade. I'm like, Las Vegas? What? You guys are having Revolution play in Las Vegas for Guam Liberation? Damn. That's cool. You guys there's enough of you? Like, there's a lot of Chamorros and Guamanians in Vegas.
Yeah, and it's kind of ironic though, right? I mean, it seems like people celebrate Liberation Day bigger out there than we do here anymore.
Yeah.
Right? It's almost like people are not starting to care about Liberation Day.
Right.
Or remember when we were kids, it was like the carnival was the thing to look forward to. The parade was the thing you wanted to be.
You wanted to be that one person who knew that one person who the dad's like, you know, dude, my dad knows the guy who's building the float, and we might be able to get on the damn float. Yeah. Like, what?
And we got a lot.
We're going to throw candy? We were always the ones catching the candy. Now we can throw the candy? No way.
Yeah, it just seems like the community morale for it has gone down. I didn't really gauge this past Liberation Day, but I've been living here the last 3 years, and the parking is usually full on this grass area, and it's like it was like barely even full.
Right. Yeah. And I could see that.
And then you think about how they celebrate, you know, they try to keep Guam traditions alive out in the States, right?
Even more so because they're like, we're not home. We need to do as much as we can to like bring that here.
Yeah, and it's analogous to someone just wearing a sanahi all the time. It's like, I want to practice the culture. I want to celebrate December 8th. I want to celebrate July 21st.
Right.
And here it's kind of like fading away slowly. Right. You know? The carnival is a piece of shit, honestly.
Dude. Man.
It could be way better. Yeah. It's never evolved.
Yeah.
You know, you have the same games and the same things.
Story, yeah.
And things just stop showing up, and it just keeps getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And it's just like, I remember when the carnival was like, I don't know if you guys remember too, the carnival over at Two Lovers Point.
I remember one year.
You guys
I remember 1 year there.
Yeah, you guys were too young. So dude, that was probably one of the last greatest carnival I've ever been to. because that's when the zipper was still there.
Dude, the zipper.
The tilt-a-whirl, the slip and slide in the potato sacks and stuff like that. And dude, it was massive. Money.
That was
like
that was such a great
middle, and now it's just like
despite us, funneling how much more money through that. It's gotten sadder and sadder, and how much more money is getting put through that fucking thing?
So somehow the casino still keeps doing good.
Here's your sign. Like, what do we do?
Yeah. Yeah. I wish it could be better. I want people to be able to experience the carnival the way I did, but maybe now the carnival is just too long. Maybe having the carnival for fucking 3 months is way too long. Right. From June to August.
I think, that might, I'm not like, I'm just speculating here, but maybe that's just to keep the casino open. We got to keep the carnival open because we need to have that casino making profit.
Right.
You never know. But why don't we just have it for 2 weeks where it's like super badass?
Yeah.
Because
1 week.
I miss the
super badass
potato sack slide. Like you said that, and I was like, you know how many times I waited in line to ride that, making my parents like.
That's the thing. You fucking wait in line.
Tony, we need to go like one more time. Come on, like, because I would know I'm gonna have to talk my parents into coming back here from their crazy schedules, and then when I finally do that, I might be able to like finally get here and then wait in line or whatever. But I'm here now.
Yeah.
So I want to ride this 4 times in one night.
Yeah.
And that was like a real, racing your like sister or your brother down, like, oh, same time. Let's go. Hey, man, you cheated, bro. Damn. One more time. Gotta wait for 40 minutes. Like.
But I agree. It should be a week, 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And put all the effort and the money into that, into having the baddest fucking carnival.
Because who's going to that? The kids.
Yeah.
The kids who are I mean, of course, parents, they're now there's a generation of parents that are like, oh boy, before the carnival was really nice, and now,
I mean, exactly what we're saying now.
Exactly. Yeah. We don't have any kids, but I mean, it's like, dude, I would take my niece there, but sorry, you wouldn't want to go, or if it, did they stop arguing over if it's gonna even happen? I don't know. Like,
honestly, it sucks. Just don't go.
Just play on your iPad some more. That solves all of it. Like, dude, that breaks my heart because it's really, it was a thing to look forward to, like you said. And like every year, like, oh, can't wait for the carnival, dude. If they're going to have
it just never changed.
Yeah, never
even
changed.
The food never changed. The games never changed.
Right.
And the locations changed. But what else about it?
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just tired of going to an event or like a festival or anything like that. And it's the same, like, 6 different barbecue choices,
right?
All giving out the same barbecue items.
Right. Like, dang. Oh, I just made this OG barbecue chicken in my house yesterday, but I'm gonna pay $13 for a plate because my nephew, this is all he eats.
He wanted to, come play these sucky games.
Yeah, and you're kind of like, wow, man.
But maybe that's what it is. We were kids and simple minds, simple pleasures. And maybe it did suck back then, but
relative, right?
Yeah. And it's like, maybe it did suck. And
no, man, the zipper, dude. No, the zipper was so bad, dude.
But bring the
zipper back.
I honestly remember my older cousins like having fun or even like wanting to go to the carnival and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But it's not
I mean, hey, I'm pretty sure there's a catalog somewhere of rides that may be a little bit pricey, but there's new stuff always coming out. Like things are always evolving. Carnivals in the States, they're evolving.
It's just because they maybe never maintained it. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Maybe the storms that happened, Pungsungwa, Paka, could have been factors.
Yep. Super factors.
Yeah.
I mean, when semi trucks and like their containers are flipping over and boats are flipping over, carnival ride's probably flipping over.
Carnival ride probably flipped over 8 times.
For sure. Yeah. For sure. So I can see how that was a fact. But then, a lot of those are owned by probably, in their favor, a lot of them are probably owned by, local families who were like, that was their thing. That was their shtick every year. they got this, the teacup ride.
Right,
and then
and then it sits in the backyard for the rest of the year
Yeah.
and not get used.
and then when, if a storm comes or whatever, or lack of maintenance, happens, or like water, salt water from the air is rusting all the parts, it's like you can't afford to whatever. It's like, okay, well then there's just no more teacup ride.
Right.
Sorry.
So we're just going to take all these tunkies and cut holes in them, put some wheels on it, and then we're going to attach it to a lawnmower and drive the kids around in the figure eight.
I was just thinking about that because I was like,
Wanted
that's
to ride that up.
I was like, when we were talking about new rides, I was
That
like,
shit looks fun.
I was like, you know what? I wouldn't even tell my niece would probably be like, really? Do we just go around in this circle? Like, I don't know. I just watch them go around.
Man, I'm always wondering, like, when are you going to hit somebody? Like, what waiver do you have to sign to, like,
Right.
in the event that I hit somebody while I'm driving this, it's like, it's not the most safest. I mean, you're driving a lawnmower with 8 55-gallon drums. With children in it, in a crowd of people.
Yeah. I think it's like a more of, well, when something happens, then I guess.
Yeah. We'll solve that later. I'm an expert driver.
Yeah. Not going that fast. We're just chilling. Got brakes.
I got the horn.
The brakes work. And I thought that was funny because when I did see him, like, I was like, oh shit. Oh
yeah.
All right. Well, you guys have right away. It's cool.
I didn't know I was in the track of the ride.
Sorry. And 1, 2, and they're having a ball.
I mean, shit. To the guy who thought of it, is like, fuck, we need a ride. Let's create a ride.
Ingenuity.
Hey, kudos to you, bro.
He probably had the same. He's like, man, I'm tired of these rides. What is the least that we can do?
Yeah.
Cut those donkeys, bro. Put it on a cart, and we'll get the lawnmower.
I don't want to pay the $30,000 for the freighting to bring over to Zipper again.
Sure.
So let's use those old oil drums that we have in
repurpose, and at least it's something.
Yeah.
Right.
You paint it pink, you paint it blue, and we're gonna make this happen.
Right.
And dude, people ride it. Can't knock it, right? People fucking ride it, dude.
I see people in it.
Yeah.
I see kids, like, they're having fun. It's cool.
Right.
So it's about the kids having fun.
Right.
I think it's cool because to like segue into this, I was listening to you about music. And you're talking about how, like, the like when the love for music was kind of fading because you're doing it so much. I understand.
Right.
When you're like doing music full time and then all this stuff, gigging like every night, whatever. And then when you went out there, it's kind of like, I guess, or to Tucson, the love kind of changed or like switched over. I don't know what podcast I was listening.
No,
maybe with Candy or.
It was when I moved back.
Oh, okay.
So my love for music actually grew out in the States. I started writing when I moved out to Arizona, and the band that I was in, all original band.
Right.
And it's not like here where you're playing for 3 hours.
Right.
Out there, 45-minute set, and they're gonna throw you on a ticket.
Yeah.
With a bunch of other bands. Do your best.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so it was easier in that aspect to be a songwriter and to like explore that, and that's where I really had the chance to get in touch with that part of myself, that artistry of what I'm able to create. Right. And it just kept going and going. I was like, fuck, I keep writing songs. Like, calling my cousin, like, hey, back then it wasn't iPhone. It was It was the fucking just flip phone. And I was like, can you hear me? Okay, I'm going to play it. And I'll fucking like jam it, right? Jam. And then I was like, hey, what do you think? He goes, man, dude, all I heard was, I was like, oh, fuck, man, my bad, dude.
Razor phone. Fucked up, dude. I don't know about this.
Too much frequency going into that small little fucking microphone.
Dude, for real. I bring that up because the first time I ever really made contact, like non-officially or whatever, was when our bands went up against each other.
At the venue for the battle of the bands.
Yes, I think it was 2013 or November.
Sounds about right.
It was December 7th, 2013.
That's I was
BB gun.
Yeah, and that's when I first met you too.
Yeah.
And that I only knew you as Leonidas.
Yeah. That was funny because it's like Battle of the Bands, cool. And so with Radio Pacific, that's the original band that I had before.
That was an awesome band, by the way.
Thanks, bro.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. I really like the kind of music you guys are putting out.
Thanks, bro. We did So Vic Mofness, the lead guitarist and singer, he wrote a lot of the songs that he had already written over like his 15 years, of since he was 15 of writing music and stuff, and he like hand selected, and wrote some songs with Rich Ikasenza, and which I reconnected with. I was homies with him up in Jigo. We lived in Jigo, and we were like skater buddies when we were young. And then we're like, hey, you want to be in this band? And then it's like, who's in it? Oh, this guy Rich. And then we met and we're like, dude, didn't we like hang out when we were kids? Like, we were skateboarding. Yeah. So that was cool. We like reconnected, but wrote a bunch of songs, and I wrote it with my mouth. I just beatboxed it. I didn't have a drum set. I didn't have a cajon. I didn't have a shaker. I didn't have anything. I just beatboxed the songs. Like, okay, I'm gonna try to like.
Have you been playing music for a long time?
I've like always banging on stuff, pots and pans, when I was like 2 and 3, really, really young. And then my dad, when I was in 2nd grade, he got me sticks with a small practice pad when I stayed in Saipan before.
Okay.
And then, in school, in middle school in the States, that's when I started getting into like the school band percussion. Then I turned 14, I got a drum set. And then when I came back here, I was doing marching band in the States, like before and after school, and 2 hours of band during school and during lunch. Yeah. So it was like, dude, almost like 8-9 hours of band a day, just immersed in band. And then I came here to Harvest, and hour and a half a week. Like, oh shit, not enough, man, not enough, dude. Wasn't enough, but it was what it was, and I was happy to be, I was just happy to have like a school band and still be playing music and stuff. So I've been kind of drumming, mostly just like percussion.
Okay.
No strings, no singing at all.
Okay.
And then when I got out of school, I would like to credit my homie Kenny Borja. I don't know if you know him.
No.
He plays bass at Sinonia Church. He's a real great guy.
Okay.
Sings like a magician, dude, like an angel. But he would harmonize with every song, like T-Pain, whatever, rap or whatever, in the car, like we're driving to GCC or whatever, and he'd harmonize with it. And I'm like, dude, how do you do that? Like, how do you just sing to whatever? Yeah. So then I started like mimicking, because I do a lot of voiceover, like different like voices.
I noticed you've been breaking out some voices.
Yeah. So I do a lot of different kind of voices and stuff, impersonations rather, always since a very young age.
How many can you do?
Oh man, I haven't even counted.
Really?
Yeah. Not counted yet, brother. not that much.
Damn. When did you figure out that you can do impersonation?
The Geico Gecko.
Yeah.
Yeah, when that thing came out. Yeah, I started trying like with that, like at the very, when you would have to like, the commercials would come on, but your uncle's already having you like with the foil and the antenna holding it so he can watch his show, and then like the commercial would come on. This is back in like, like early like 90s or whatever, like late 90s and 2000s. And then the Geico Gecko would come on, and I'd try to do the hello, you could save on your car insurance by switching to Geico. So I try to like
that's pretty fucking good.
I try to impersonate it, whatever. Like it's probably not that good compared to the guy who does it, but
his actual voice.
Yeah, the actual dude who does it. Yeah. So then I started with that, and my mom would always be like, "Tunny," my family calls me Tunny. Tunny, do the voice, and then I'd be like, shy. I don't want to do that voice. I'm ashamed. Yeah. And then I just started doing all sorts of voices, and it was kind of just like natural for me to listen and then do a voice. Yeah. So if I listen to a movie or whatever long enough, I'll pick it up. So singing, I never could sing. I never like you said, you're like a closet. Don't tell anybody I can sing. I'm a closet singer. Yeah. For me, I never sung at all until Kenny started singing, and I was like, I think I can do that. So I started harmonizing, and then like.
Yeah, anyone can sing. Yeah. With enough practice.
Yeah, I didn't know that. Yeah. I thought it was like, you got it or you don't, bro. Yeah. You got it or you don't, brother.
He's a gift from God.
Straight up, boo. Straight up. So I was like, okay, all right, I can't sing. And then I figured out, oh, you can like actually learn how to sing. Cool. Yeah, right. So then I didn't like take classes or whatever. I just tried it out, and Kenny plays the ook, and so I like start getting into ook, and then it was then when I like, okay, found this kind of like band, we're playing music, whatever. And I didn't have a drum set. I didn't have nothing, I'm like, okay, I don't have anything. I'm a drummer. I play on other people's drum sets and show you what I got, but I have nothing, Yeah. So they wanted me to be in the band. Then they said they have some songs, whatever. I wrote, I don't know how many songs we played in that set, but we had a bunch of different songs down. I borrowed Tim Rohr's cajon to like write like the album of songs we're writing, to like play on his cajon, right? And then I made a shaker with a coconut or like a bamboo cup, and then broken dry spaghetti noodles and painter's tape, and I just use that as a shaker. It worked. It worked. Sounds. I still have it in my car. It sounds good. So like
spaghetti noodles still good.
Broken dry painter's tape, and I sprayed it like purple, like, you know, I do art too, so I sprayed it like, you know, like purple galaxy, kind of looks like a galaxy. My shaker, boom. So I like wrote the songs with that. I bought a drum set December 6th. We had one practice December 7th, the day of the gig, the day of the Battle of the Bands. And then we went to the gig and then played, and then you guys played, and we're like, you know, you guys won by, I think.
Did we?
Yeah, you guys won by like 27 beers because you had to drink Heineken to vote. And so, yeah, so that was the thing.
Remember that.
Yeah,
yes,
dude. Yeah.
Okay,
so that was the very first time, but it was like, I don't even have a drum set. What do we do? I bought it from my prim dude, Rodney. I don't know if I forget his last name, but he stays up next, like, I think he stayed behind Sananya Payless. Rodney, cool guy. But I bought his drum set for like $500. And I just like, all right, cool, got the drums. The gigs, I'm like transferring from shaker and cajon to like drum set, one practice, and then go play the thing. So it was really fun. And then we were gigging, we got a gig at the garage.
The garage, I remember the garage.
Yeah, on that stage, it was.
Yeah, that was a funky small stage.
I mean, it's a cool idea if you're like a 2-piece.
yeah.
You know, it's cool.
It was on like a lift, right?
It's on a car lift for garage, yeah. So great idea, but the hydraulics didn't work, and there's like sometimes the hydraulic fluid would be leaking, and you know, I don't know. But so we're playing there, and I would always ask my dad. My dad's an old guy. I mean, he turned 68 this year. So I was like, dude, can you come to our gig, man? Hear my music? And he's like, 10 o'clock, really? You know? Really? Come on. I'm in bed by 8, so it's like, all right, we can try to start earlier one night. So
we'll play a fundraiser or something.
Yeah, you know, the first fundraisers. I thought that was so funny. I heard that today, Candy. Oh man, the first love you, Candy. You the bomb. So the first gig that he ever went to, he's like, dude, you guys are gonna record music? Like, is that all original? Like, fuck, you guys rock, dude. Like, what's going on? And so it's like, I don't know who records. I think we're kind of like young as a band. We haven't even been together for like maybe a year. Like, you want to record us? Like, pay for it? He's like, dude, we'll just figure it out, you know? So we were friends with Sarge and Jeff from DUB, Elusive Light Studios, and we ended up doing something, having a meeting with my dad. My dad's like, look, man, I don't know, just try it out here. Like, I really like you guys' music, you know, and I don't need money. You just hear, you know, like, how much is it gonna cost? They're like $6,000. Right. So then, you know, like, he was like, okay, here's a check, you know, record. So we recorded music, and then, you know, it was like the demise of the
band.
Yeah, things just kind of like, people had their differences, and in between there, I mean, it wasn't like anything personal differences, but it was kind of like, okay, that happened. Things just kind of like started going each way. Everyone was doing their thing. One half of the band went this way, and then two others went that way.
Because now you have to like make time.
Now,
right?
Now you have to
go
like
into the studio and sit in the studio.
Well, no, we did the album.
Oh, okay.
It's unreleased. I have a copy for you in my pocket.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I'm down.
We have the thing. You know, the thing is done.
Yeah.
But then, by the time it was done, the band was kind of like, you know, there was like this. Or, you know, it's kind of like shifty, like, you know, and we're all still real good friends, but it was kind of like, it just wasn't the same. We put a lot of work into it. And then there was the thing of, well, now we got to pay, you know, Clay's dad back, but now we got to put up the money to print these CDs and have the album artwork, and, you know, paid my homie Tim from Opaque to like do the album artwork, and that's done. But it's like, okay, you want to make 1,000 CDs? Like, if you're going to do 500, it's $1,800. If you're going to do 1,000, it's $2,000. Like, make 1,000. Like, what? Like, you know, if you get more, it's cheaper. So it's like, okay, we got to come up with $2,000, and we just never did. You know, there wasn't any drive.
You haven't thrown it up online or anything like that?
No, we haven't. Yeah, I think, you know, I think we should. I think it's about time.
Yeah.
I
mean, the band's not together, but it's
been a
okay.
while. Yeah. I don't know, 4 years. Oh, Jesus. 5 years since it came out. But yeah, it's still an unreleased album. It's 12 tracks, and we still have like, I mean.
See, that's one thing we never did. We never put ourselves into the studio. We had every intention to go into.
Right.
The band was never meant to be like, oh shit, we're gonna get big. We're gonna fucking, this is all we want to do. it was like it was a good way for us to like pass time. We absolutely loved music, you know, and that was like our favorite thing to do. We get to hang out with our friends and play music.
Right.
Sweet. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
And but we just never got into the studio, and I'd sit there, I'd still write, dude, you know, and I think with that band I wrote 10 more songs than I came into the band with, you know.
Right,
so
right.
it's like yeah, I wish we did.
Yeah.
But we just never gave the time or took the chance.
Right.
And I don't know how it would have turned out. I honestly don't like the way I sound on a recording. I don't even know why I do a podcast.
Not a lot of people do.
But people like the way we performed, I guess.
Yeah.
You know? So I guess it was cool.
No, yeah. I mean, well, that was because I play with Vince Mesa on Fridays, and so when I gave him the CD, I'm like, dude, half of the band wanted to use metronome, the other half didn't. You're gonna be able to tell. And he's like, but you know, it's the experience of going and doing it, and like, you know, you have the experience, and you know, you have something to look on. If you're gonna do it again, you know what not to do, what to do. So it was really cool. But I take that back. We do have some songs on SoundCloud, like whatever, I don't know, maybe like 4 or 5.
Okay.
I don't think it's the whole album, but definitely on Radio Pacific SoundCloud there are some jams. And then we did a Acoustic Attack music video with Ryan and James Davis, and there was no percussion in that music video because I didn't own a cajon, so it was just like guitars and singing, and we did a music video. There's no percussion. I was like, damn, still like
you're like beating on your
couldn't even borrow one. Cello gonna borrow? No. Okay.
Who's that guy standing in the back just doing nothing?
Yeah, it was the guy with the drumsticks with long hair doing nothing. Still. Are you useless? Pretty much. Yeah. So it's time.
So what do you do with the band?
Troll sticks, dog.
Yeah.
You know.
I look good for
Moral support.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was funny.
I was hanging out with Kiko Man last night, and we were just talking. We're like, dude, we gotta come out and play again.
Yes,
It's been 3 years since the last time we played together, and it's like we were at we're at a new bar that just opened up. Roots.
Yeah, I heard it's the old Escape. Yeah.
Very nice setup. So they moved the stage over to the other side.
Where the ping pong used to be.
Yeah.
And
and it's a whole and it's an open layout, and then the bar is where the sound stage, the sound man used to be.
Oh, all the way across.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
it's
fit for a nice venue.
It is.
Does it sound a lot better? I mean,
we didn't get to hear a band, but
okay.
He has some speakers like towards the bar, and I feel like it's a mistake that it's a mistake that a lot of bars here on Guam make, especially for narrow bars, is the sound doesn't move quite as good, so they're tending to like blast the front, and the back doesn't really get the sound right. And they're turning it up so that the back can get the same sound.
But it's not in the front. You're like,
you're like, holy fuck, you can't even be up here.
Yeah.
So this one, it has speakers in the front, but it has also speakers in the back.
Oh.
So it looks like it'll help the sound travel through the room better. But I haven't heard. I would have to hear a live band. Just to get a sense of how the sound moves through the room. Cool.
Yeah, because that's a big place.
It's huge, dude. It's massive.
Yeah.
Like when you're sitting at the bar, the stage is pretty far.
Yeah.
You know?
You can put on a pretty sweet show there, I'm sure.
Yeah. That's the first thing I imagined. I was like, holy shit, this is a good fucking concert venue, you know?
There's space.
Yeah, there's fucking space.
Wow.
You can literally
put a skate park in that place.
Yeah.
You can put an indoor skate park in there.
Agreed. And place can hold maybe like 300 people, standing room, right? I don't know. That's what it felt like. But yeah. So we were there and we're like, damn, we should jam. So I think we're gonna do it.
Yeah, dude.
We're gonna start getting together and just play
fun.
Maybe play there, you know.
Yeah.
And start off with like a gig a week, you know, or a gig every other week.
Yeah, dude.
I don't know, man. I don't know how to get back into this music thing.
Dude, me neither, bro. I took a break for a while.
Somebody help me.
I had a break. I took a break for a while because it's just, you know, like I found myself, I mean, I was playing, dude, I would be jamming out with like 2 for 30, Gene, and then sometimes Boomer would be there at Cheers, and then I would be playing with like Friday night. I was playing all like, dude, for I don't know, for.
But see, you're a percussionist, man.
Yeah.
You know, you're more versatile to like just pick up stuff.
Right. Yeah. For like a singer and guitarist, you need to have your whole
You have to have
shit
your shit
together.
together.
And that's something I'm doing too, because I found it where it's like, you know, when you're in a band unit, sometimes that unit, you know, you have to rely on that unit. Sometimes people would be late. I'm not saying any names, but this happens to every band.
Right.
Shit happens.
Right.
So what's the solution? If you want a gig, do it by yourself.
Right.
Sing and play guitar by yourself. So I've been playing guitar like 2 years. And so,
Nice.
yeah, so I have like maybe 28 songs
In your arsenal?
Yeah.
You're
Like
almost,
I can play
you're
like,
almost ready for the 3-hour set.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, I got to get like 65 songs and then I can play a gig. And then I can be learning like, you know, maybe 2 or 3 songs a week and add on to that and vary them out while I am continuing.
Man, the dedication it requires.
For sure, dude.
To like,
and you got to have your own sounds because to make, you know, you can't rely on anybody. You have to have your own board. You have to have your own monitor. Everything has to be you. You know, you have to show up early. Early's on time. Boom. There you go. Yeah. If that's what you want, you know, to like get your fix or whatever. So I've been, you know, going down that route too, but I had to take a break because I was relying on music for full time. And I wasn't, you know, doing the condo thing. I wasn't. I was staying, you know, with the homie James Whippy. I was staying with him. Right. And I was like, dude, they're gigging, they're DJing, like, you know, every night. I'm playing music every night. We're just chilling, drinking, doing music, you know, like living it up and like going through this, like, you know, I don't know how many months I just played full time, like 5 nights a week where, dude, if one person decides, like one bar manager decides, oh, we're changing that lineup, then you have to sacrifice one of those gigs. So you miss 2 gigs. Because if you have everything lined up, it's not going to stay like that. You know, my dad's like, you can't quit your day job because your day job's going to be there. The music can be on this like as a plus. Yeah. But if the music's inconsistent, then fuck, you're screwed. Like you miss, you know, it can fall off real fast. And it did. So I was like, okay. I was playing with I was playing at Cheers with all sorts of people with Dan and all these different, you know, gigs and stuff and all the bars, just like you have, you know, played at all the stages before. Yeah. And so it's like, you know, you kind of like, okay, you know, you figure it out. And then I was like, okay, I need to like work. I need to go back to work. And then just recently, I don't know. I mean, I don't know, maybe like 10 weeks ago, I went to Mosa's and I was like, what's up with this? What's up here? It's like, they don't have a percussionist. Why is Vince and Big Ben they don't got a percussionist? Right. That doesn't seem right. Like, I'm gonna go ask them if I can play music with them. So then the next week I'm like, hey, you guys want to jam? They're like, oh yeah, play next week. You're gonna jam out. So and I've just been playing with them for
I'm glad Big Ben has made it out. Just like in the last like 2 years, he started putting himself out into the scene. And
dude, you know, the first time I met him, man, this is a great story. Mosa's the first open mic. Huh. Oh, dude, this is my bomb. This is the night I bombed. You can ask Ralphie. He showed up for like he showed up. I saw him in the crowd, and I like shouted out to him, dude. I bombed so hard. I got there at 4 to have dinner. This was the open mic night. I didn't sign up because I'm like, whatever, like. I'm not confident in my guitar playing skills. Right. You know,
I'm not ready for this.
It's a full you know, it's a full restaurant full of people. And then Mo was like, yeah, you going to play tonight? And I'm like, yeah, maybe. I don't know. I didn't know what time it was. Dude, it started at 11, bro. At 11. I'm thinking, man, maybe 8 it starts. You know, I'm here at 4. If I could, I'll have dinner, a couple beers, you know. And I just drank until 11. And then somebody had a cajon. And then there was a shaker, and I played with Ben, dude. We're supposed to play 3-song max. Dude, Ben played 10 songs.
Oh, shit.
Fucking everybody loved it, bro. Play that tomorrow jam, Ben. Fuck yeah. So we're playing, dude, and I'm playing cajon, and everything's going sweet, bro. And I had the tambourine, you know, the foot tambourine thing, and my shaker. That was what I had. It was in my car. Oh, there's water right here, bro.
It's fine. It's fine. I just need to wet my throat.
There was yeah, so it was in my car already, but I mean, I didn't have a capo for playing guitar or whatever. I didn't even have a guitar. I'm like, if somebody lets me borrow their guitar, maybe I'll play. Yeah. Whatever. Yeah. So I played 10 songs with Ben, and dude, I was like, are we going to be done? It sounds like we're playing a whole set, you know? And he's like, all right, you know, Mo came up. Okay, cool. You know, Clayton, did you still want to play guitar? And I was like, yeah, fuck it. Yeah, fuck it. So dude, there's like so many people in the bar. And I just get up I sit in Ben's chair. I grab his guitar. He lets me use it. I put the capo on the wrong fret, and I fucking bomb.
Oh man,
I bombed so hard. I tanked, man. As Joey Diaz or Joe Rogan would say, I ate a bag of dicks on stage. Super. I was terrible. I stopped in the middle of the song. I made jokes about myself. I was like shouting out people in the crowd, and I was bombing. I'm like, this is also a comedy show, so this is a part of it. Whatever. I don't play guitar. Go back into the song. It was terrible.
Oh man,
it was fun though. It was the best gig I ever had because it was like only up from here. Can't get any worse from that.
Quite the optimist, are we?
Yeah, for sure. It was terrible, bro. It was terrible.
I remember one of the times I've bombed on stage. I was playing a gig by myself at this bar, and the girl, one of my friends, she came and she goes, "Hey, my dad made some weed brownies.
Oh,
you want to try some?" And I was like, "Yeah." She goes, "But don't eat too much." And I was like, it's cool. I've tried it before. Fucking chowed it, deal. And it hit right when I got on stage.
Of course.
And the first 2 songs I played, I couldn't play them. The first song I started playing it, I couldn't remember the words for the life of me.
Oh no.
So in the middle of the progression, I was like, I don't remember this song. I'm so sorry. I'm gonna move to the next song. I started playing the next song.
I don't remember.
I couldn't remember the second verse.
Oh.
So I was just never again. I told myself, I was like, you were never doing that again.
Right.
My friend's like, what happened in there? I was like, dude, you're weed brownie. Dude, that's what happened to me.
Duh. Set up.
Yeah. And it hit me right when I got onto stage. Yeah.
Oh no. Oh no.
Somebody help me. That's how I felt. And but I ended up playing the rest of the gig and sweating my ass off. Yeah. But it was cool. Lesson learned. And
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
My lesson was learned too.
I had a lot of kind of stage fright. I never, a lot of the musicians that I've had on the show, they grew up, in the Guam scene, Guam music community, playing since they were in middle school and high school and in the music scene by then.
Right.
Me, I didn't enter the music scene until I moved back to Guam in 2010. Right? Yeah. So it was out there I had to find my bearings, you know, of being a performer, a live performer. And so to get used to it, I used to sing to people on campus.
Dope.
So I'd bring my guitar on campus and I'd sit on this knoll. It was like a grassy knoll that it's above a main walkway area.
And you just serenade
passerbys, dude. Like,
nice.
And I like describe what they're wearing and stuff. And it was the way for me to like practice being
that's
comfortable singing in front of people, to people, whether or not they liked it. I mean, there were some people that were like, ugh. And some people were
out of here, dude.
Oh man, you're so sweet, you know? Yeah. And it's like, it helped me open up and we played a plethora of gigs, dude.
Nice.
Played this one
That's
gig.
cool.
Yeah. Arizona provided a lot of opportunity to play music. I played reggae music at a death metal bar.
Dude.
Biker gangs inside the bar.
Dun, 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 dun,
yeah.
dun, dun.
The microphone was like half. It's not round anymore.
Oh, yeah.
It's like pushed in.
Oh, yeah.
Because they guaranteed the last dude who used it, like slam the microphone on the ground.
They don't care. Yeah.
Oh, shit. I was like, who got us this gig anyways?
Like, this is like, there's spikes in the ground.
You can see all the patrons like, these guys playing reggae? What the hell? What the hell is this?
Dude.
So we played our set and we got the fuck out of there. We're like, all right, get the fuck out of Dodge. Phoenix, actually. Yeah. Drove back to Tucson. We're like, we should start scouting these areas before we start getting gigs in random ass places.
Yeah. There's a lot of different bars there that I mean, I wouldn't know. I wasn't in the bar scene. I wasn't old enough to go to the bar scene, but I knew like Mill Avenue is like that school. Like you could just go right there near like
ASU.
Near ASU, and it's like a whole, this is the road where all the bars are. Mm-hmm. Well, try your luck. Yeah. There's a flavor for everybody. Right. Go check it out. Like, there's going to be all sorts of different bands or whatever. And it was like, well, I mean, I'm I'm 15. I'm not gonna go see this music. But
Right.
I would imagine that there's a lot of opportunity out there for music, just as there is for anything else out there. Would you like a lot of the common ground that I find where people are talking about opportunity on this podcast is, well, you're not creating it, you're not looking for it. Like if you're complaining there's no opportunity, it's like, have you even tried? Have you even looked out there?
Right.
I'm sure that like if you go, like he's like, oh, I want to go gig somewhere, somebody's gonna give you a gig, you know. So
and anything that you do,
yeah,
you literally have to create the opportunity.
yeah.
And people are still waiting here, waiting for the next big thing,
Right.
the next sunrise.
Right. Waiting. That's a crazy thing, man.
Yeah.
That's a crazy thing, waiting. I've done a lot of waiting in my life, and I figured out that shit, dude, you're waiting on you to change your mind. That's one of the themes that I found through this last couple of years, because I went through this crazy like change of being this like degenerate drug addict to like not a degenerate drug addict. You know, like
To a generate drug addict.
like, all right, well now, you know, but it all starts and ends in mind, really. You just, you know, whether it be, you know, getting up and going on a run at 4 a.m,
Right.
I mean, having the discipline to like, you know, wash dishes when you don't want to wash dishes, or, you know, doing a podcast when, you know, you would rather, you know, like fall asleep, but this guest is like really, really great. You know,
Yeah.
even though you had like a rough night last night, you're like, man, I've been waiting for this guest. I don't want to,
Yeah.
you know, I mean,
Yeah, this is you exactly, bro. You're
Whatever.
describing yourself. Shit.
what the hell? Get the fuck out of here. This guy. But no, I mean it starts in the mind, and I feel like a lot of the things that I would tell myself before would be like, you know, like, oh, when that comes, like, oh, everything will be solved when that day comes. Like, no, you gotta fucking create that day. You know, you gotta want to like change. You have to change your mind and create the opportunity for you to like succeed
Right.
in whatever you're gonna do.
But I think the problem is we think that one thing we're gonna do is gonna be the life-changing thing. It's really a trickle effect.
Yeah,
you got to take the
everything.
steps.
Yeah.
So it could be a factor of what's gonna change your life.
Right.
I mean, we really don't know what and what's gonna change our life and when it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
You know, and
I feel like there's this when I look back on it now, I'm like, oh dude, I needed to do all that dumb stuff.
Yeah.
Because it's in those moments where you're like, you know, I heard this one quote. It's like, if you're born perfect, all there is to go is down. You know, like if you're born perfect and great, like, okay, you know, there's this like, there's another thing, like, why are all these rappers so great, but they're coming out of the like worst, most impoverished places, like in the like worst like gang violence and stuff. Like they want to get the fuck out of there.
right.
You know, like, so they have to get super creative with what they got, with their mind and their words and their actions, and like be proactive about it and do it.
Right.
So one can find, and I wanted to talk about this too, because these are two things that I feel are like really, really affecting a lot of people on Guam every day. And like,
Laziness?
oh no.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I thought we were on
Whoa,
the same page.
dude,
Shit,
are you reading my mind?
Fuck.
You reading my mind, mate.
I thought it was that island fever of just being lazy all the time. Like we're chilling.
That's something that, you know, comes with anywhere you are. You get comfortable to, you know, what's really going down.
Yeah.
Like I can speak on that. Like when I would like drop to a low in my life, and I just fucking get comfortable there. Like, this is my life now. Fuck it. Like, fuck off, whatever, it's cool. And then I drop to another low, and I'd be like,
I've heard someone say that.
Comfortable here, you know?
Yeah.
Get comfortable here. It's cool.
Yeah.
It's no big deal, because this is what it is, you know? But that mindset, you just keep getting trapped in it.
Yeah.
But what I was going to say is it's two real things that like not a lot of people talk about. I know Big Tone, like, congratulations, first of all, dude, world record holder for Guam. Like,
Yeah.
fuck yeah, dude.
Jeez.
Killer. Dude. Blood vessels popping out of your face,
Yeah.
bro. Like,
that was a bench press, right?
dude, bro, yeah.
489 or something like that.
Can you
Can't
check
remember.
down that, man? We're going to get them stats from Matt right now real quick. Alrighty. But dude, no, for real, super killer.
Anthony Salas.
I think it was about 468 or something like that.
Yeah.
469.
Something.
Not so sure. But dude, the dude, God, he's so strong. Dude.
He's so strong.
He's so strong.
He's so fucking strong.
He is
What-
Guam's
yeah,
strongest.
yeah,
but
yeah.
but he talked about his you know, he had drug addiction.
Yeah.
And overcoming it, and to be where he's at now, it's like a perfect example of like, dude, change your mind.
Mindset. Right.
Just change your mind. And that's one thing that when I was listening to his podcast, I'm like, no shit. You know, we have mutual friends from the boys up at Opaque.
Okay.
But I mean, they're not in any place to be like, oh yeah, dude, he had this fucking passion in his life, whatever. You know, I mean, they it's like not something that comes up, and we don't really talk about each other's like baggage and shit, you know.
Right.
But
like, I used to be a drug addict.
yeah, but I feel like it's something that, like, I want to bring out and be like comfortable. I'm comfortable with talking about the sexual abuse that I've gone through in my life and the drug addiction that I've propelled myself into before, because it's a topic that a lot of people, it's like taboo. Like, okay, we know what's happening.
Right.
We know a lot of people are in problems and they're doing drugs on Guam. We don't really like to, you know, get into the details.
Right.
We know a lot of sexual abuse goes on here, and some people, they're not okay with coming out and saying, like, you know, shit happened before in my past, but it controlled a lot of my life. Like, it really did. But when I look back on it now, it's like, fuck, like, there's a lot of perspectives that I have on it where it allowed me to become like the healer that I am today, where it's like, okay, you know, you go through all this shit, but you, like, I don't believe that everything happens for a reason. I know that everything happens for a reason.
Well,
like, you know?
well, you can bring perspective to someone who's maybe feels cornered because of it.
Right. Because you can
Stuck in
relate.
right.
Because that's one of the things that I realized. I'm like, dude, if I go through all these terrible things in my life and I don't help anybody get through the same thing I went through, like, that's a de-evolution of my spirit. Like, that's just like, what the fuck am I even doing?
Right.
You know, if I'm going to go through
you might as well be on Instagram posting your best life.
Dude, because that's all I'm going through, man. Just my best life every day.
I'm just going through my best, the best of the best.
I'm having a ball, you know? But it's on the contrary, people don't want to talk about it. They don't want to talk about the nitty gritty of, like, oh yeah, how easy it is to get prescription pills. How easy it is to be a fucking degenerate asshole to yourself, you know, like staying up for 5 days smoking crystal meth, being a terrible person to yourself. Like, nobody wants to talk about that.
Right.
But I'll talk about that because there's people out there that probably listen to this podcast who've gone through some terrible shit, and they're like, man, who they don't want to be the person that, like, not a lot of people are going to come out and say, I love you, I'm going to help you, you're in a bad spot, I'll give you advice, you know?
Yeah.
It came to a point where I got tired of being tired of like lying to myself, you know? I think it was just really
lying to yourself,
lying to
in the sense that, like, you didn't love yourself.
No, lying to myself, like, you know, getting comfortable with lows and then getting comfortable with the low, like,
and then get lower and get comfortable with that.
Yeah, this is my life, like, whatever.
Okay.
I got tired of it, you know, and it was like it was just like oh shit, what am I doing? Right. You know, but it's these different pleasure receptors in the brain that are met with all these different substances, catalysts to different perspectives that you kind of can get carried away with. And I understand that, you know, people get into drugs for all different types of reasons, but one of the things that I've always heard is, like, I start hanging out with the wrong crowd. And I get that people get peer pressured into doing certain things, you know, they can, from drinking, whatever. Is like
searching for identity also,
right,
especially in your early 20s,
right,
really figure out who you are.
Yeah.
So you'll put yourself in any situation or subcultural group
for sure
to identify with,
right,
whether it's a good or bad,
right. And so, I mean, and bad is relative,
right,
because now I'm looking like, okay, you had to be that piece of shit. Like, I keep an app of my sobriety, whatever, like how many days, whatever, I haven't done all this shit and how much money I've saved. Like, man, when I show you this fucking app when we're done with this podcast, you're gonna be like, damn, you saved Jesus. Oh my God. How did Clayton? Stoked you're alive, bro. Like, it was like I was just like letting it go, man.
Well, now that you look back on it, right?
Well, yeah,
I sort of laugh upon.
Well, I look back and I'm like, okay, I needed to be this terrible person to myself so that I can be relatable, because
but do you think it necessarily had to happen?
Yeah, because there's a lot of people that are like, you don't know what I'm going through. How would you gonna give me advice about drug addiction? You've never been there.
Yeah.
What kind of drugs you been addicted to?
But then on the other side of the coat,
yeah.
on the other side, it's like, what? You're a drug addict. You can't give me advice.
Right.
Why are you gonna give me advice on if you were a drug addict? Why are you gonna give me advice?
But we're talking about helping drug addicts. So it's like, one of the goals that I have is, you know, being able to help people that don't want to go into like these programs. I didn't go into a program. I just had to change my fucking mind. So to be telling somebody, like, if you're a social worker and you're like saying like, okay, talking about domestic violence in the house and, you know, or sexual abuse,
right?
You can relate more. Not saying that they don't do good work, but you can relate more if you've had some kind of experiences. And that's not to say like, oh,
Or the fact that it wasn't their job.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Well, what do you mean? Like,
as a social worker, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are you saying that it's harder for them to relate to a drug addict because they haven't gone through it themselves?
No, I feel like there's a lot of good people that do their jobs, but people that are the sufferers or the victims or the addicts may be like, dude, fuck you. You don't know what I've been through. I'm not going to listen to you. That from that perspective.
I see. Okay.
So for me, it was like something in my subconscious. It's probably like, yeah, dude, you need to do all this terrible shit to your body because someday some kid is going to be like, fuck you, bro. You never snorted Xanax. You don't know what I'm going through. It's like, oh, yeah. I know exactly what you're going through because I decided to do this and then drive my car home being a zombie and made it home and blacked out and didn't know. Woke up at 7 p.m. the next day and I don't remember anything. So I can help you with that because I came from your perspective and I know, been through all this terrible shit. So I know where you're coming from because when people are...
But that wasn't the main aim when you were doing drugs, right?
No, but I realize now that it's like, no, yeah, dude,
yeah.
No. I wasn't like, I'm going to start all these drug addictions. I'm going to fucking help out all these kids when I turn right. Chew. No, not at all. I just was selfish,
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
I'm just making it clear for the listeners.
No.
Because that's what it's sort of sounding like. It's like, I had to do all these drugs so that I can give perspective to people.
Oh, God, no. That sounds terrible.
Okay.
No, now I realize when I look back on it, like subconsciously something was probably like, dude, it's kind of like, you do all these voices. I always thought I'm going to become an actor. Dude, I do these fucking voices, whatever, this and this and that. Be in theater, did NFL, won first place, island-wide NFL, fucking humorous interpretation. I'm going to go and do an acting. It's like, just because you're good at something doesn't mean that you're going to go and pursue it. But I got really good at being destructive to myself, but not for the purpose of, I'm going to go help these people later on. That wasn't the fucking point. After spending
for sure,
too much, ungodly amounts of money.
I just want to unconfuse the listeners.
Right.
If that's what it sounds like, the reason why you're doing
right,
what you get into drug addictions.
Right. No. I was just, curiosity.
Right.
Yeah. Curiosity didn't kill Clay, but it surely kills a lot of cats. I know. I fucking came out of that one.
Were you heavily influenced by maybe subculture or people around you?
There's just a lot of fucking drugs here, man. If they're around, just like they are everywhere.
Right.
So I'm not gonna say Guam, there's a bunch of crystal meth, go smoke meth. No, like first of all, I'm coming from a place where it was just from my perspective, my experience. So I don't condone drug use. You sound like I'm drunk. Just drinking water, guys. I haven't drank in 100 and some days, but
really?
Yeah, I quit drinking.
Okay.
I forgot how many over 120 days ago.
Was there so you're completely sober?
Pretty much, yeah. Yep. Just water and that tea sometimes at Mosa. So
are you onto that sugar?
I'm on the sugar, baby. No,
that sugar drug.
Yeah, that's a crazy one too. But I don't know. I was like, alcohol, man. It's like one of the craziest ones because it's there. It's a drug. People say drugs and alcohol. Like, man, fucking alcohol is a drug. You can do morphine. You could try to quit opiates and not die, bro. If you're an alcoholic and you quit alcohol, you're fucking dead. Like that's the one drug where you're like, you're gonna die. If you're super dependent on it, you can't just stop. You gotta wean off. People can do opiates. Like, it was a weird thing when I experienced opiates because I tried having like this, it's called like roxycodone or whatever, this one pill, and I was like, oh, it felt good, whatever, and I fucking woke up the next day and I was like, oh, let me try to get one. I tried to get another one and it didn't do anything. I'm like, you gotta double your dose the next day? Fuck, they got you. Like, this painkillers are fucking real. Like, you feel great and then the next day it doesn't work because you need double the dose. Like, fuck, they're making money. You're buying it on the street and you're spending all your money. Like, I didn't go that far into that one because I'm like, it's not gonna work. Jesus, never mind. I'm not gonna spend my money another way, But as far as like the one that's more prevalent here that people have a really big problem where they're breaking into houses, they're stealing, they're fucking robbing, they're spending all their money at the game rooms, crystal meth. It's really bad. There's a lot of crystal meth here. Like an ungodly amount. Just like there is everywhere else in the world.
I think it's coming from Asia too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's a lot. And so when I got into like that, it was curious. I was just like, man, everybody fucking, there's so many people. It's like, what is that? What's the appeal to that? So when I tried it, I was like, that's bullshit,
Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck is that. It's like made me like, oh god, didn't even do anything. But then it was like, well, maybe that just wasn't good, you know. Then a month later, I tried.
Maybe I got to take more.
Yeah, and then a month later, I tried, and it was like a month, and then 2 weeks, and then a week, and then it was like a half a week, and then it was like every other day for 8 months, or every day, you know. And
On opiates.
Like, no, on crystal.
On crystal.
Yeah, and it was like, dude, what the fuck am I doing? But that's not what you think.
Right.
When you're
trying to get the next hit.
Yeah, you're just like, you feel great, whatever, cool, and then it comes to a point where you can't get high anymore, but you're just up, you're just awake. Fuck, you know, doing stupid shit.
So is there a point where you come down at all?
Well, yeah, after a crystal meth binge, you crash.
Mm-hmm.
Typically, if you run out of supplies or you run out of money, you will crash and sleep, and then, you know, you'll eat. But
for the most part, you're up the whole time.
I mean, it's not something that you would really track when you're going through it. You know, you're not like, okay, this day I'm up here, whatever. It's more like, fuck, okay, one day, you know, I get this much, and then, oh, that doesn't wear off, so maybe the next day, and then you find yourself broke, and you're like, it's either, okay, the down's gonna come, and then wait until you get paid, or start selling shit. So I was selling my shit. I was fucking like,
so you're trying to get enough money to,
you would just do anything for that shit,
to get enough money to, before the down comes around, to get your next hit.
Well, I mean, you would just really try to sustain the high. Okay. And then after a couple of days, you realize you're going to need a dumb amount of crystal meth to stay high. Yeah. So then you go to sleep, and then you know, it's not a social drug. You hide from your parents, you know, you don't share it. Like, you know, it's fucking expensive. Like, you're not going to go and share it with people like other people do other drugs, you know? So it's like,
it's not like a joint.
No,
right?
You're very like closed off from the world. You know, you start doing all sorts of, you develop these weird habits, then you start seeing yourself surrounded by fucking aggravated, mean people in houses, putting yourself in positions where you're like, shit can go wrong, but I just want that hit.
Yeah.
Fuck. You know, like, I'm at this house right now and fuck, this house could be going down, but like I was at a house one time, and just because I wanted to smoke, and I was going to smoke for free, and fucking someone like thought shit was getting shifty, and they just shot a gun off right behind me, like at their own wall in their house. And I was like, and he's like, dude, I'm sorry. Just fucking see some shit going down. Like, they're like rolling weed, and it was like, you know, whose weed's that? Like, dude, like, the guy's just fucking going crazy. Like, he's like, all in his brain. Like, how long have you been awake, bro? Like, dude, get out of your brain. Like, why are you shooting guns off in your house? Like, well, that you put yourself like to you can be a victim of somebody else's circumstance instantly because it's the drug, but it's your choice to get that drug because you don't want to come down. You know, you're like, oh, I don't want to come down. Someone to try to get the next hit. So you'll be selling your hats, you'll be selling your fucking shirts, you'll be fucking collecting coins so you can get a 40 ounce at the gas station, so you can be drinking, chain smoking cigarettes, and so you can be like, you know, playing video games, just like comfortable in that low. You've sunk that low vibration. Be comfortable in that. I know a lot of people, you know, are like, why would you do that? It's like, well, you just wouldn't understand if you didn't get in throes of that stupid drug.
It's not like you're actively. Oh, how do I explain? Like, I can't explain it because I've never been through it.
Right,
but I'm just trying to understand what the thought process would be. It's not an actual choice, right? Because your mind is onto one thing.
Yes and no.
Just help me.
Yeah, it is. A lot of people say addiction is a disease, but it is a choice. Because that's the one thing that you're free to have in life is a choice, right? So you can choose to let your emotions and the way your body feels. Like, dude, on Joe Rogan's podcast, one of the first things that he says when he's talking about this, I don't know what podcast it was, but crystal meth, he's like, one of the first side effects that people say is your good judgment goes right out the window. Yeah. Your good judgment goes right out the window. It doesn't seem like that feasible of like you can grasp that kind of like idea, but as soon as you smoke that, you're like, fuck, I want some more of that. Yeah. And then you'll do whatever to get some more of that. It's very simple, but it's a choice that you're like, because you don't, there's a down, you experience that, and then you have suicidal thoughts, you feel depressed because the dopamine and serotonin levels are lacking. But it's a choice. You that's when people, they stay awake, and worse it gets. The like more days you stay. I mean, the fucking longest I stayed was like 5 days. It's just terrible.
Do you eat at all?
No, you can't. You don't want to drink water, but you'll drink sugary drinks. Like you'll down fucking black teas, like no problem. You drink beer, like you could just drink forever. It's stupid. You drink water, your stomach doesn't want it. But you'll just pound alcohol. You'll just pound sugar. Like, dude, like tall black teas, you just bomb through those.
Yeah.
You could chain smoke. You just want to keep smoking. You smoke packs and packs and packs of cigarettes, dude. Not in like one day. That'd be crazy. But you just, it's the gnarliest thing, dude. And it's crazy. There's so much in here. And like, I feel like there's not a lot of people that they're like, dude, I know a lot of people are like, I want to get help, but if I go, they'll fucking call the cops on me and I'll get arrested. Like, you want to go get help, but you think that going to like rehab is going to get you arrested. Like there's all these, it plays tricks on your mind, dude. It's crazy.
Yeah, like you said, good judgment goes right out. Then I guess that's where I was like headed to. I mean, I guess alluding to with the lack of choice is that with making a good choice requires good judgment, right? So you're not exactly making a choice. You're making that instinctual choice of wanting more,
right?
Constantly.
Yeah.
So you're gonna do whatever it takes to get to that next one,
right? Stimulant.
Right.
Yeah, you're just stimulated. Boom. I want to feel that. And it was like, if it went from there to like quit that, and then like, the other white powdery stuff was there, and it's like, this is a more social thing.
How did you get yourself off of it?
That one, I just decided, I was like, it's enough. I probably spent like 10 grand on it, and like probably more than that in 8 months. It's just fucking ridiculous.
Damn.
Ridiculous amounts of money.
And you don't even know. It's not like it's 10 grand at one time.
No. Shit, if you had $10,000 to spend, you could, you could probably, you'd like, if you knew anybody, I'm not saying that I knew, but it was just like small. That's how those people make their money, because they just sell you a little bit at a time, and then you get addicted. You never save up enough money to get more than enough, but if you ever did, fuck, it's gone. Like, you'd just be like, all right, get a couple friends together, degenerate fucking losers, and you'd go. And I say degenerate loser because I was one, not like for any of the people out there who might be, dealing with crystal meth. Yeah, like, you're not a loser. I love you. The universe loves you. The universe has your back, but you just have to want to have your own back.
Right.
It's kind of one of those things where you have to go through it to realize, shit.
Well, you have to make the choice.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And so when it really came down to it, I was like clean for like a couple months, and then I told my dad, I was like, hey, I've been smoking crystal meth. And he's like, what? You've been smoking crystal meth? You fucking stupid. And we had this huge fight in the dining room. Like, not a fight, but verbal. And we have this glass table, kind of like that, but it's a dining table. And he like made a point. He was like, he tried to like crack the dining, like the coffee mug on the dining table, but it took him 5 tries. And then he fucking cracked it. And, like, we've been super close and chill because he's had his own history back in the day. But, he was like, oh, wouldn't like you smoking cigarettes, but what kind of an example am I? I wouldn't like you doing that, but what kind of an example am I? So it's kind of like, I guess a part of me was like, well, a lot of people on Guam in my family, have been into this. Like, what's the fucking hype about it? And then when I got into it, it was like, we got you.
Yeah.
It just fucking grabs you, and you gotta control yourself. And so after I just got dumb, I just was dumb, and I just let myself go crazy on it. I'm very lucky because I didn't end up in jail. I didn't get shot by that dude that's just shooting random bullets off in his house.
Yeah.
I didn't fucking end up being, in somebody's house, and, like, God forbid their house gets raided or some shit, and I'm just like sitting there like, oh, I'm listening to an iPod, waiting for fucking drugs. Like,
yeah,
made it out alive, curiosity got a little bit strong there. But I realize now, like, okay, there's people out there that were in my spot that are like, no one can relate to me. Fuck it. I'm a loser. I'm a degenerate. I'm a drug addict. I can't be helped.
Right. And it's probably the same thing that you just said was, because I'm doing it, I'm going to get in trouble. Someone's going to turn me in.
Yeah. Cause I thought that too. Like, fuck, if I try to go to New Beginnings, like, dude, like, then I'll just be able to get more deals there, because all those guys are ex-fucking addicts. Those guys fucking probably, I don't know, like, like, that's one of the, there's all these stigmas that you create in your mind, you don't really know because you don't try to go get help. But really, at the end of the day, I just was like, no, I don't need that. But then you switch to another thing. And then it was like, oh, all of a sudden there's fucking barrels of cocaine on Guam. Jesus Christ. How the fuck is that happening?
Showing up on the shores of Iran.
Come on, guys. Like, what the fuck is going on here? And so I wasn't finding barrels of cocaine in my fucking lawn, but it was just like there. And you're like, okay, well here. And then sooner or later your paychecks are going to cocaine, and then boom. And then you find yourself, coming out of a bar, and the bar, 9 a.m, and then you just go to work late and you work all day and you're like tired and fucked up, and it's probably a health hazard because, you've been up all night, like just a loser, just fucking wasting your life away and just being in it every day. And then you try to get out of it, whatever. And that's when it was like, okay, get out of this kind of lifestyle, whatever,
Yeah.
But before like that, the cocaine came around, it was really the pills and the booze back before. Like the pills, like, oh my God, dude, like people are like selling their prescription Percocets, bro, for like hundreds of dollars, a whole fucking prescription. Like, dude, you have no idea how crazy it is.
Selling their parents drugs from the medicine cabinet.
Like people that are on disability, they'll be fucking, they'll need these Percocets, but they're like, no, I can go and I'll just fucking sell this whole fucking, prescription.
Make $1,000.
Yeah, easy, boom. And then they're fucking selling Percocet. People are snorting Percocet, buying it for like $10 a pill. Like, what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah.
And like, I was in the throes of that, it was just like, dude, what's going on? All these different pills, people are fucking, it's just crazy,
You fell deep in though.
Super deep. I fell crazy deep, bro.
And now that you've reached sobriety, it's
dude, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's crazy because it's like, I figured it out on my own. I had all these different like close calls and lows, and I'm like, oh shit, like life is real. Anything can like change super fast. Life can change for you really fast.
Yeah.
Just like as soon as I got like the dude shot that gun off, I was like, whoa, oh, people have guns in this house now. Wow. You're riding around because you want to get some pills, and then you realize like, why do you have like $18,000 in your duffel bag, and why are you talking about guns in the trunk?
Yeah, just like
I just wanted to go to Taco Bell.
The recent nabbing, right? They had $450,000 in cash.
Jesus,
it's like,
that's crazy, dude.
Who just sits with money in the house like that?
That's gnarly, dude. Like, you just get into these positions where you're like, okay, what am I doing? Like, do I really want to be here? Well, fuck, can't really get out of this right now in this position. Like when you're in a car driving with people and you're like, all right, what are we doing? I don't know where we're going. Like, fuck. Well, you got in the car, bro.
Yeah.
Like, this is all you. So I know there's a lot of people out there that are like, what do I do if I'm consistently putting myself in these stupid positions, these dumb places where it's like, oh, I'm like, tooting these fucking, crushing up these prescription pills in a cocktail and railing them, like going to fucking watch Star Wars like last year when I was like, went to Star Wars and I like popped a Xanax bar and I fucking went and bought a beer at Foodies at GPO. And then I fell asleep during the movie, I missed the whole fucking movie. And then I come outside and
I've always been very interested in people that do Xanax because
terrible.
It's weird. The first time was one of my friends in college. He's like, "You want to take a Xanax?" It was either Xanax or Ambien.
Oh my God, that one's crazy.
And
never took that one before.
And I was like, "What's the point?" He goes, "You just force yourself to stay awake, and that's the high."
Dude, God.
Yeah, that's what it is. That's what it is. You sit there, you take it, and he's like sitting there like this, like
yeah. Yeah.
Like,
zombie.
Not even like zombie. And I was like, dude, you all right? And he's like, let's kick it in, bro. I'm just trying to stay awake.
Like even with the lean, like that promethazine and codeine, people go crazy over that, But the Xanax is that one. I don't know. I've heard a lot of crazy stories. I've had this one guy at the condo. Dude, this guy was walking around naked outside because he took an Ambien, and this is a common thing. They forget they took one, so they take another one. Fucking crazy. They forget they take one, so they pop another one. This dude walked around naked outside in the parking lot, just buck naked, no shirt, nothing.
Yeah, and apparently people don't realize that they're doing these things.
No, they'll drive to the grocery store and then they'll like commit murders, and they'll fucking do like people have done this.
Roseanne Barr just recently, right, with her and Twitter, and she like posted some shit. She didn't. She didn't even fucking recall.
Ambien. Yeah, and Xanax is the same way. You like. You just, what happened? I don't know. Did you drive home? Did I drive home? Go outside. Fuck, the car's there.
Yeah.
What happened? Did we get pulled over? Yeah, we did get pulled over. How did we do it? We talked him out of it. How the fuck did that happen? You go in the car and there's like, why are there a bunch of pills scattered on the ground? How the fuck did we not get arrested?
Right.
Well, we got lucky. You know? Wow. What the fuck happened there? That was the one time where I was like, I need to go back to sleep. Like, I need to reevaluate some shit here, you know? Because I was like, dude, we got pulled over and I'm not in jail. Like, whoa. Like, I had one DUI before, and you know, I've told everybody like, no, I wasn't really that drunk, and I ran off the road. I was fucking drunk, guys. You know, I was drunk.
Saving face.
I was drunk, man. I was drunk. I fucking hit the tiny, there's like a scratch this big in the fucking little median in the road. Yeah. My transmission broke in my Camry. Got pulled over. Told the guy, I was like, I'm drunk. Just take me, you know, whatever. Talked about it. He's like, I've pulled over judges and arrested judges. Judges get DUIs. It's okay, boy. Don't worry. Yeah. So I went to, you know, Hagatna. Weekend warrior. Sat in there and, you know, didn't ever go back. Because I was like, fuck. But I almost did. You know, I didn't learn my lesson, you know. So I had all these different things where I was like, okay, you're not going to get so lucky all the time, you know? You
have to snap out of it quick.
Well, it took a while, and it took different substances for me to realize, wow, you're still being stupid, you know? And the last substance was the alcohol. Because I really, like, I had this spiritual awakening last year, and that was the one thing where I was like, oh, okay, cool. I have this, you know, the cigarettes went away. Yeah. And then I went and I would always rationalize, you know, how you have one beer a day, you have, you know, one beer a week, whatever. I went like 8 days, I went 11 days, and then I went to McCrout's. I went 11 days without a beer, and then I went to McCrout's with my friends, and I'm like, after a hike, and I'm like, oh, fuck it, I'll have a beer, bro, you know, it's all good. And then I had a beer, and it was okay. I don't think there's anything wrong with beer, but for me, my sensibilities, my heightened sensibilities of, you know, this spiritual life that I'm walking now, they're dulled when I drink alcohol. And I would rationalize like, okay, I'll have a beer a day or a beer a week. It's all good, no problem. Asahi. I'm still probably gonna get an Asahi can of Pacific Blue tattooed on me, bro. That's my fucking beer, but I just don't drink it anymore. That's my beer. I'm a skateboarder. Who's gonna get one right on my ribs, bro? Fuck it, you know. Like, it doesn't matter. It's all good. But
Matt's gonna get a Budweiser can.
Oh fuck yeah, dude.
On his.
I just don't drink. And then there was one day I was with my boy, and we were up in Hagatna Heights, and I had a Heineken can, like a slim Heineken Light, whatever, half of it. I was like, oh, it was like maybe 15, 16 days that I hadn't had a beer. And then I had half of a beer and I couldn't drink it. Yeah. And I was like, whoa, they're drinking wine. Maybe wine will do. Like maybe wine will be good, you know? Yeah. So I had a fucking, nice little glass of wine there. And my head just started throbbing, bro. Pounding. And I'm like, my soul was kind of just like, you get it yet, bro? Like, you done? I think you're gonna learn that you're gonna keep coming back around to this, and it's okay.
Yeah.
But you're not growing. It's inhibiting your. You know, it's like it's putting a stint on your spiritual growth for me.
No, I agree with you. You know, we don't realize that it's an addiction when we're doing it. Right. You know, especially alcohol. It's legal. Everyone does it. You know, but the abuse of it is extremely easy.
Super.
And I went drinking with my friends last night, you know, and it's like,
dude,
yeah.
we've all been there when we're just like we probably drank, think about it. How many hundreds of gallons of alcohol you probably drank in your life?
Oh my god.
Crazy, right? I was just thinking about that today. I'm like, dude.
I think Matt's at like 600.
Fuck. We like, you know, and that's something we pride ourselves on, you know, like when my cousin Nate Respicio came back from for like this family reunion here, and I just met his other side of his family, the Sangil. The Sangils were having their family reunion here, and he's like, "Hey, uncle, I wanted to introduce to my cousin from my side. You know, this is Clayton, whatever." And he's like, "Oh, you're cool, but I got one question for you. Can you hang?" And then Nate's like, "Oh, well, you know, he recently, you know, quit drinking. You know, he's like doing other things with his life now." And he's like, "Oh, that's okay too. But that's the one thing. Like, there's always beer, there's always alcohol. It's a social thing, and I get it. You know, I understand." But it was something that was like, I got really fucking, you know, people are like, dude, you quit drinking beer. I'm like, dude, I got really good at that. I got too good at drinking. I think I retired. I graduated, and I think I'm on the other level now of just like, fuck. You know, you don't, not that everybody that drinks alcohol feels shitty, but I got to the point where I was like, hangover, 5 p.m., no hangover, time to drink.
Yeah.
Then hangover, work all day, fuck, I feel good, clock out, time to drink, happy hour, fuck yeah, slippery fish, $4 on draft. Are you serious? Serious? You're going to give me the fucking mocha porter for $4 on draft for 3 hours? Done. 6 beers, plaster. Jesus. Fucking A, bro. Spent $24, however much money. Like, I'm ready to go. And then I just have the worst hangover ever the next day. Like, okay, do it all over again. It was like the cycle.
Right.
But it was, I got so used to it.
Yeah.
And so when I finally, stopped drinking, then I felt like, oh, that's how it feels to be sober. Like, wow, okay, shit. Like,
Not have
smell the roses. Fuck, you know?
Yeah, toxins running through your body, right? For me, when I was trying to quit cigarettes,
Oh, dude.
it's one of the hardest things that I had to quit, because even when I was smoking, I was like, nah, easy to quit.
Rationalize, yeah.
But it's like, oh, okay, just one today, And it wasn't until one day I was smoking outside. So I'm going on 3 years in May.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so 2.5 years.
Congratulations, bro.
Thanks. Yeah,
Good on you.
I've never felt better.
Fuck yeah.
Right. So right now I'm in process of trying to cut the alcohol out of my life.
Right.
So, and it's just as hard. And for me, smoking cigarettes has always been a social aspect.
Right.
It's like, this is what I do at the bar. Go outside, conversation starter, borrow lighter, borrow cigarette, have a cigarette.
Right.
You want a cigarette,
Yep.
And,
I probably heard you at the bar one night. Hey, bro, you want a cigarette? Like, probably at venue, definitely probably before, like, when both of us smoke, you know, like, for sure.
Sitting outside for 5 cigarettes later, and it doesn't even phase.
Nope.
Right. And I told myself when I was 25 I would wean off. I'd quit smoking cigarettes. I quit smoking cigarettes when I was 28, and I'm 31 right now, and I still haven't quit drinking alcohol.
Right.
I've been trying to quit drinking alcohol. It's tough. I tried getting off because I love beer. Who doesn't love beer? Right?
I love beer.
Yeah. So I was like, you know what? I'll go to wine.
Mm-hmm.
Like it makes a difference. No. Ended up spending all my money on wine.
Dude, wine is tricky.
You're like half a bottle. Like this wine should last me like a week.
Nope.
You're drinking a bottle of wine in a night.
Yeah, by yourself. That's what I'm like. This is all right. I'm feeling good.
Yeah.
That's just
And
one bottle.
all I needed was 4 glasses.
Yeah, it's tricky, man.
And it's become a part of culture.
Super, man.
Right.
For real.
To go down to the bar or go and hang out at a kickback.
Yep.
And who has the beer?
Yeah.
And it's almost
different kind of beers. They have,
right now there's craft beers, right?
Yes,
and now they have like beer shares where people are bringing their
shipping beer here from all over the world.
We had a couple guys, Johnny Arceo and Charles Rapadas, come on the podcast, and we had a mini beer,
and that's super dope. I think that's super great,
And but when you're trying to, reach a certain level of sobriety when it comes to alcohol, it's almost impossible,
right?
It's ingrained in us.
Yeah, it super is, and still my dad, he'll have a martini a night, he'll be, he's one of those guys where, he's a smoker, 50-year smoker. He'll smoke like 2 or 3 cigarettes a day. But then he would wake up. Yeah, I would be waking up coughing in the middle of the night. You need to quit smoking cigarettes. And then when I quit, I'm like, dude, you'd probably be better if you quit. He's like, don't fucking tell me to quit smoking. You know what's worse than somebody who smokes cigarettes? Somebody who quits smoking cigarettes and tries to get everybody to quit. I'm like, weren't you the one trying to tell me to quit? The fuck is that about, dude? Hypocritical. I don't know about that one, bro.
You hypocrite.
Pretty funny, but he'll rationalize this thing, and I'm like, he's whatever, he's set in his ways, he'll do whatever he's gonna do. But as far as the alcohol goes, I mean, I don't mind, man. People will be drinking next to me, whatever. It's like, I feel like there's this weird, okay, you know how people are like in recovery? Mm-hmm. I'm not in recovery. I'm recovered. Because the fucking way I'm up here is like, you can't pay me any amount of money to be like, bro, you want to hit this crystal meth? Like, dude, I'll be like, it's not about that. It's not about the money. It's like, you drink this beer for $1 million. Like, that's the fucking principle, dude. Yeah. The principle is, I understand my why I don't do it anymore. So it's like, can't be tricked. I have fucking dreams where I light up cigarettes and I'm drinking cocktails, and I'll wake myself up because I'm an avid lucid dreamer. I'll be like, the fuck kind of bad fucking and negative energies are in my dreams, bro, trying to get me to fucking smoke, you know? I had one where I was like riding down Marine Drive and like trying to hit a pipe, you know, like crystal meth, like woke myself up like, God, that's so dumb. What kind of fucking, did I sleep late? And it's like, yeah, wake up and then I'll try to go back to sleep. And that's when like I'll have really bad kind of fucking weird dreams of I didn't wake up on time, and then I'll snooze, and then I'll have some fucking nightmarish dreams or some sleep paralysis or something.
Yeah.
It's weird. But they try to get me in my dreams, and I'll wake up and like, it was just a dream. Fuck you. You know, can't trick me. But like the other night I was like chain smoking cigarettes in my dream. I was like, oh.
I've had a couple smoking dreams too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought I ruined my sobriety, my cigarette sobriety.
For real, you feel like that.
Yeah. I was like, oh my God, I ruined it. And then I wake up, I'm like, oh, thank God.
Yeah.
Yeah. You mentioned that you've reached a spiritual part of your life now.
Mm-hmm.
In what respect? You know, is it more of a religious aspect, or is it more energy? You're more in tune with who you are, spirituality.
Yeah, there was this point in my life where I just want to I don't want to forget about the small excerpt about sexual abuse. I'll speak after this.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
lysergic acid. Yeah, LSD.
Okay.
Pretty comfortable with it, and had a few trips before.
Mm-hmm.
And then one time, October 10th last year, I had a little bit more than normal. I had 3 doses, and I took a dab, and then I had an ego death, but I didn't let go. I just clung. I don't know if you're familiar with psychedelics and ego death.
No.
It's a very, very peculiar topic.
I've messed around with psychedelics, but
right?
I've never reached that.
So that
pinnacle.
This particular experience I had, it was like a breaking down of. It was like I already lived it. It was like It's like you don't have to believe, like they talk about, Terrence McKenna talks about like, okay, I don't have to believe in God, because if you take 5.5 dried grams of mushrooms and sit in the darkness, you will meet God. You know, God is the source, the source, creator, energy, he, she, it, all,
Mm-hmm.
The oneness,
Yeah.
That was what I experienced. I didn't, at first
You feel in the presence, right?
Oh, dude,
Yeah.
it was like you just are one. You're just in the one. And at first, this is how the trip went. Had the dab, I'm just chilling, whatever. And then I started hearing inward chanting, not from external audible.
Right.
It was just in here. And it was an Egyptian word I never heard before. It was Nichru, Ntchru. But it was a singing like Nichru, and I was like, "Do you guys hear that?"
Mm-hmm.
And my friends were like, 2 friends never tripped before. Bad idea, because they're trip sitters, but they never, unbeknownst, like they didn't know. They didn't know how to handle somebody.
Right.
And I sure shit didn't know how to handle myself either. But I had this weird thing, and I'm like, okay, never mind. I don't know what I'm hearing. Like,
Yeah. What does it mean?
It means God or gods in Egyptian. Nichru, Nitru, Ntchru.
NTCH. No, you don't have to turn on.
Yeah. I didn't at the time. I know all this knowledge now, but I didn't know any shit before.
Right.
I was really like, okay, whatever. And then it stopped, and then it came back around again, and I was like, whoa, you guys really don't hear that? Like, they're like, no, Clay, like, don't hear nothing. And I'm like, okay, And then I like laid down on the couch. I was looking up, and I saw like these. It's like a highlighted white, like kind of like not an orb, but spherical, like circle, and then a smaller one, and then a smaller one, and then the 7 like chakras and all the different colors for them. And I was like, whoa, that's new. Like I just thought like, oh, that's new. And then I kind of started seeing different, like a torus field, like I was on the inside of a sphere, in the whole room. And then I had this weird feeling like, okay, I started getting nervous. I started getting like anxious and scared. And like the fear came. And like Terrence McKenna talks about this, is like the fear. The fear will come to everybody, and it will come, but you have to just say no. Don't give in to the fear, because the fear is like, it really is going to try to grab you. And like, you don't, it's like everything that you've ever never thought you were afraid of will fucking look at you in the face, and it will try to scare the shit out of you. Mm-hmm. But before that really came, there was this sphere of this tsunami blue energy. Like, I'm in this living room right now. If there was a sphere of blue, like holographic sphere of perfect blue, like love, like truth energy, that was like just crashing in on itself, perfect and strong, but like with no borders, just like cresting in on itself, because it's so graceful, and that's like just by itself, it's like embodying everything that you want. And inside it was like, this is what you want. This is what you want to be. This is what you want. Truth, light, love, purity, strength. But if you died right now, and that was one thing, I was like, I took my phone out and I was like, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die. And this is a common thing. People really do think, they're like, I'm gonna die. Like, you look it up and it's fucking sure as shit. You'll find people think they're gonna die. Mm-hmm. For real. It's
called an ego death
experience. It's fucking scary, but it can deter a lot of people away. But it really, psychedelics don't teach you anything. They bring out what's inside. Right. They bring out what's already inside of you. So it showed all the things that I was afraid of. And that's why they say you have to be you should be in a very clear mental state, have everything going on, correctly. But in this moment, I had just been like 2 months sober off of all those, things that I should have been, stopped doing. Mm-hmm. And I was like, okay, I'm good enough, and I was like testing this stuff out. And I really like, I was in for it that time. And a lot of people think, oh, I've done it this time. That's what a lot of people think, like, oh, I've really done it this time. I think I'm going to die. So I started saying like, dude, I think I'm going to die. And they're like, dude, you're okay. But what I was seeing was like, no, like, you're going to fucking die, dude. Like, what you see and what you can try to relate or explain to people, it's just like you can't. Like,
there's no translation.
There's like universal truths that you try to like utter out of your mouth when these trips are like happening, and then when they're as soon as you try to like speak them, they like fade away, and you just like, you get frustrated because you can't explain the universal truth. Yeah. But you know what it was. You felt it. You were it, right? I saw this thought was like, you're gonna die. Like, and then I saw this beautiful blue, like pure, like God, love, consciousness, like strength, tidal wave, blue holographic, like energy crashing in the living room. Like, imagine, like real as day. And then it was like, this is what you want. But if you died right now, it's not where you're going. This is not what you want. This is not what you would get, Yeah. And then the fucking room turned red, dude. And the first time
trip, dude.
The first time I ever heard of a bad trip. The first time I ever heard of a bad trip was this Darren. Oh my God, Darren, the glass guy. Okay. The glass guy, his girlfriend, right? So Kashmir by Led Zeppelin came on when we were at a barbecue at their house. Like, dun-dun-dun. Oh wait, what was it like? Yeah, Kashmir by Led Zeppelin. I don't know if you guys can play it. The song is coming to mind. Yeah, the song is fucking killer. She's like, oh nope, bad trip. Change it. She had a bad trip, and that triggered when she heard that song. That song was playing when she had a bad trip, dude. That's the fucking Jimi Hendrix was playing that in the popcorn ceiling. Jimi Hendrix came out. Like, and like, it was like, it's not like Jimi Hendrix like, what up, Clay? How's it going? It was like, I saw the Jimi Hendrix playing left-handed, and he was playing, he was playing fucking, Kashmir. And then the face turned into like a demon, like devil face, and it just stared at me, and it was like, got you. Like, you're in hell. Like, that's what the thought was, because I fed into it. But it's an illusion. Right. It's an illusion. You need to just...
It's not actually happening.
No, it's not. You need to... But you need to surrender. And, I mean, it is happening. It fucking is. But you need to surrender and let go and not feed into the scare illusion of, I'm going to die. You need to, like... If you were right in the brain and you had conscious people that were there, like trip sitting, you wouldn't feed into that illusion. They would help you.
Because you would understand that.
You would understand. Tripping. Yeah. You would understand that it's okay. You can think that, but that's not it's okay. Don't feed into that. It's all right. If you just ignore it, it's okay. Don't worry. You're going to just let go. Just breathe. And then you would just go into the one. You would be into that one.
Yeah.
You would just be in it, the one consciousness. But I didn't. I clung to it because I thought, fuck, everything that I am, I'm afraid. I'm gonna all these things that I was identifying myself as, I was afraid that I was going to let it go and I was going to die. I won't be able to see my family again. I literally thought I was going to die. I wasn't going to be able to see anybody again, all my friends and nothing like that. So it found that fear. I fucking looked into the eyes of fear, and it was like all the bad things that I were, the lies, the deceit, the fucking, the lust, the greed, all of these bad fucking characteristics, the ego just jumped out of me and looked at me and was like, are you fucking afraid, dude? And it just was like 4 hours. I had this Kundalini awakening. That's another thing I didn't know about. I didn't know about that. I sat down, like at one point I switched around in the couch and I was looking at the fucking wall. And then my friends were like, what's going on? I jumped back and I moved the coffee. Like if I just moved this coffee table out of the way with my head, and I'm on the ground now. Now I'm looking up at the ground, like I'm looking up at the ceiling, and I'm just like seeing hell, and I'm seeing Jimi Hendrix playing Kashmir, and I'm just in it. I had you can't it's like you can't move. It's your limbs, they just start fucking going crazy. You can't control them. Okay. In this Kundalini awakening thing, like I didn't know what it was, but it's they have this different it's like this explanation of there's this at the base of the pituitary gland, there's this different fluid that's secreted. It goes down your spine and then it comes up and then it goes through the chakras and it I guess it went to the first chakra that I had. Like this is what I learned after from months, because I had no idea what the fuck was going on at the time. I was just flipping out.
Yeah, it happened and you couldn't explain it.
I was just on the ground rolling around with my like I couldn't control my arms. My eyes were just like fucking, everything was going crazy. My whole world was being thrown upside down, and I thought I was at the gates of hell, dying. Yeah. And I wasn't trying to let go, but you just got to let go and realize that it's okay. Like it's just one of these things where I didn't do my research and I took advantage of it, and I got cocky with you just think about psychedelics, and then they just slap you in the face. Hey, motherfucker, watch out. But it was all for the purpose of the greater good.
Yeah. Because every time I've dabbled with psychedelics, I always come out of it feeling like everything doesn't really matter. Everything that really matters, that we make matter, doesn't really exactly matter. Right. It's only because we make it matter. Right. And it's a freaky thing. I mean, because you're not in that state of mind all the time. Right. We're in such a distracted world. Right. That it's almost like the world has purposely been created for us to be distracted, to shy away from realizing these things. Yeah. Right. Or being in the presence of,
that's a good perspective
of this train of thought.
Yeah. And you know what I thought was interesting is when I tell people this and they're like, oh, Clay, you look like you changed your life around. You quit doing all these bad drugs. You degenerate fucking piece of shit. Because that's what I call myself. So when I tell people, they're not calling me like, you're a piece of shit. Like, you change your life around.
They can't call you a piece of shit because you already call yourself a piece of shit.
Right. They can call me that because I'm like, I don't care what anybody says or thinks about me. Whatever. Fuck it. It's like, if I worried about what people thought about me, I'd be miserable. Right. But how'd you do it? And when I tell them, like, okay, it was a lot of things, but the one thing was this experience that I had. And they're like, oh, just another drug experience. Fucking discredit. Throw it out the window. Yeah. But I've had these states of I've had these different states of higher, different heightened awareness and consciousness without drugs now. Weird. Very weird, man. Just at random times. But that night.
Are you like in
meditation?
Do you feel like you meditate a lot?
I mean, not a lot, but when I do.
Oh, okay.
Like when it's weird. Like meditation is a kind of weird thing because people have a goal. They have like a start and end point for meditation, really.
But maybe you're realizing that because you know how to be in that mental state, right? And so now your body understands how to be in that.
It's been like thrown into like a barrel full of gunpowder, and someone threw a match in there, and it's like but it knows the area and like the space, but it doesn't exactly know how to enter. You can't like that whole place, that whole
right.
thing
That's
that
why you use. That's why you use drugs. I mean, not you, but that's why people use drugs to enter those
because
states of mind,
it's a portal.
Right.
It's a catalyst.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So it's a portal to that area. But what really happened was, it faded away, and then I started thinking like, you know, okay, this was a crazy one because it was red. The room was red, right? And I'm like, fuck, dude. And it was like, yep, you did it, man. You're not going to hell because you smoke cigarettes, you know? But it showed me, it's like, you're not going to hell because, you know, you smoke cigarettes. You're not going to hell because you drank alcohol. You're going to hell because you took acid. And it was like, it was in my mind. I just kept replaying that. It was in my mind. But then I thought myself out of it. I was like, wait, dude, it's like, imagine there's Crash Bandicoot, but you're running down the hill, the fucking boulder. As soon as you stop trying to dodge, that boulder's hitting you, bro. And you're being pummeled all the way to the bottom. So you need to fucking have mental clarity and strength to be like,
well, to be in those extreme states of mind, right?
But when it's happening, I was like, but not everybody that's taken acid goes to hell. And then it was like a layer was pulled back, and I'm pushing this boulder up the hill. It's like, okay, so if that's true, because what you do when you get scared and you feed into this illusion is you take the illusion and you place it under, this is fact. This is fact. This is really happening. I'm scared. But if you don't see it as an illusion, you start building fear on that illusion. And it's like, oh, you believe me. Fuck. And then it starts rolling down the hill and it just pummels you. You really have to be mentally, you know, fortified and strong, like fucking strong, because it can and will, if it sees that it can get in there, the fear will try to take over with anybody who has the right amount. And this is one of the things with psychedelics that a lot of people say, like, oh, I took too much. Like, no, you just didn't take enough. Because and this is not condoning psychedelic use, misuse, or of any drugs at all, but a lot of, you know, pioneers of psychedelia will be like, when you take a little bit, your mind still has space to try to combat it. Like with the mushroom thing, you take 3 grams of mushrooms, you're going to still be able to like try to like control it. Like, okay, I'm still good. Put music on. I have my friends. We're chilling, whatever. Yeah. But if you have 5.5 grams of dried mushrooms and you sit down there, everything's going to fucking melt, bro. Yeah. You're
literally going to be like, whoa!
You're going to be in it. You're going to be melted with it. And you have no choice. Your brain will just let go. You'll surrender to it. And then you'll be in the one. And this is the weird thing about the psychedelic trip. After that night, everything started fading away. Like the vision started fading away. I looked at my friends. I'm like, I didn't even say I'm sorry. I didn't even know what the fuck just happened. And then I was like, I need try to drink a beer. The beer didn't taste the same. Okay, maybe go for a cigarette. Went outside to the balcony, tried to smoke a cigarette. I heard sirens from an ambulance. I wanted to escape. I'm like, they're here for me. Fuck, they're gonna arrest me. Fuck, like they're coming for me. My friend's like, dude, like no, that's an ambulance, bro. They're not. No cops are coming to break the door down for you, bro. You're fine. Like, it lets you. It's very self-introspective. Like it makes you so focused on all of the problems that you have, and that's just why one of the podcasts with Bert Kreischer, Joe Rogan had, on the Duncan Trussell podcast with Bert Kreischer and Joey Diaz, that recently he was like, yeah, I went to therapy and the therapist said, you know, they're talking about acid, and he's like, yeah, the therapist said, well, this is going to be like a long, strung out acid trip, or you could just take acid. And he's like, really? He's like, yeah, it's about 10 hours, but you can fucking solve all these problems. Like it helps people with all these different problems they have, dealing with PTSD and all these different things.
Yeah, and they're starting to use therapy more and more. I think they just didn't the U.S. the Food and Drug Association just, God dang it.
I think for MDMA they're doing stuff they with the DEA as well.
Yeah, see something on them using acid for veterans.
That'd be really great, because I know it does wonders, you know.
Yeah.
And so he's like, Duncan's like, yeah, man, it works. Yeah, man, it works. I don't know if you listen to Duncan Trussell, but he's great. And they're talking. He's like, I thought it was too crazy. And he's like, no, you just haven't, like, everything has to melt. He's like, man, I was like on my knees with my hands in the sand, and it was like disintegrating into nothing. Like I was disintegrating into nothing, man. It's great. And Bert's like, I don't want that, dude. I don't want that. And I thought it was funny that his therapist said that. He's like, well, you could pay for these months and years of therapy, or you could just take some acid and solve all your problems on your own. And kind of like it opened up, like if your brain is a house and you have doors, sometimes people don't like to open the doors and sometimes they can't close those doors, you know, but acid like opened all the doors, and then it let me see like, this is all what's wrong with you. But you, all the selves that you were in the moments that you were before you did this trip, you still are followed by them.
Yeah.
Like they still follow you around. It's not a linear, like just this moment passes. Like this podcast right now, it's going to cause a chain of reaction, like the butterfly effect for all the different things that are said and whatever, all these different things are going to like spin off different realities from it, you know?
Right.
And so really it taught me like, you're not the lust and the greed and the fucking pain and the trauma and you know, all these things that I was identifying myself with. You're not the ego. And it killed all that off. And I was left with a shell of a man. I didn't know what I was. I drove home. I fucking woke up the next day. I didn't know who I was. I asked myself, I said, who the fuck am I? I walked around. I didn't even work. I walked around pretending to fucking work, but I was just like walking around at work and I'm like, I don't know who I am. So I started researching like I started researching different things, you know,
just going back to what I said. It's like nothing really matters.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah.
And I think that's what it kind of breaks you down in that sense, that mental aspect. It's like, oh shit, I was worrying about this, and it doesn't matter.
I was associating myself with all these things that I wasn't, and I was clinging to that shit hard. I was clinging to that ego.
Is that something that you sort of subconsciously identified with?
Oh, I mean, all of the things that got straightened out after that trip. Yeah, because I was in a place of coming off these crazy drug addictions, and then I was getting my shit together, but I still had all these problems that were looming around. But the acid was like, here's the shovel. We're fucking done. You need to change the sand in this sandbox. We need to rinse and repeat on this shit. Like you still have these problems, and I dug myself out of it, but my mind did, and I was just on the ground rolling around like a fucking child.
Yeah, okay. You know? I guess I missaid.
Oh, okay.
Because it's not like shit don't matter, like you said.
Right,
you still have to take care of the things that are bogging you down outside of your mental, right? But as far as the mental and the mental strains and
we get distracted in things that don't matter.
Shackles that we hold onto ourselves, that we hold ourselves to, you realize it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
You can actually handle the shit.
You can handle it, but you have to know that it's it's a problem first. And you have to look at it from an unbiased perspective. And that's what it really does. It's like, you can't see how fucked up you are. Let me, you know, you think you're so cool that you can handle this drug. Cool. Great. I'm so glad. And that was always meant to happen, by the way.
Right.
It wasn't a mistake to do this, to have that trip. It was a hard lesson. And there's no such thing as bad trips, only hard lessons, because you will make it out and you will learn some shit.
Yeah.
And so,
but not many people are as lucky as you know, to make it out of certain drug addictions, right?
Right. Not many people have the type of, you know, like, I guess, education or information or even like circumstance where they can get out of it. I know people that, you know, their grandparents have, like, it's like, dude, I met somebody and it's like, your grandparents smoke meth? Fuck. And your mom, your parents, fuck. And it's like a part of the thing. So you're never going to get out of it. No. If it's a normalcy, it's kind of fucking like, okay, that's just a thing. So they maybe not be super addicted and good and all strung out, but it's like, okay, maybe you smoke like once or twice a week. Like, what is that doing for you?
Right.
But it doesn't matter because it's always been a part of the family. So it's kind of like maybe, you know, and that's just maybe everybody's story is different, but some people for sure can't. I mean, they feel like there's no way out. And I feel like me coming out and speaking about it, like, yeah, I've been a degenerate piece of shit, you know, and I can probably give some people advice on like, yeah, I've been there. I love you. Like, you're sticking a needle in your arm only once, man, but I fucking know what it's like and it's not good. Don't do it. You know, you're fucking smoking, you know, you're crushing down pills and you're smoking them, freebasing them, you know, the fucking opiates, like, can't last forever, man. I've been there. You know, you're snorting fucking Xanax. I've been there. It's not going to last, bro. You're spending all your paychecks on cocaine. It's not going to last, bro. You're binging on crystal meth, staying up for 5 days, man. I got you. I've been there, man. I'll fucking help you. You know, like, there's people that need somebody to fucking go to that's like, you're not a doctor, you're not a therapist, you're just a fucking dude who's been through some stupid shit that you put yourself in, and now you're putting yourself out there to help people. And it's like, I feel like I've done a lot of dumb shit that I'm like, okay, how can I use that?
Well, that's a real awakening, though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And so from that psychedelic experience with that beautiful tool, you know, the lysergic acid diethylamide, from that beautiful, and now I realize you don't need that. I've come into these like states with cannabis, and that scared the shit out of me, bro, because cannabis doesn't work the same anymore. This goes for a lot of different, really deep, spiritual awakenings, ego death trips. Like you think you're like, oh, you're dying kind of trips. Cannabis isn't the same. You just need a little bit and you're fucking like, whoa. Like I had like a joint one time and I just thought everything started being familiar. Like, remember this? Like time is so weird. It's like time doesn't even exist. It goes out the window because you come straight back to that same thought of, are you gonna feed into that scary fear? And then I went home and I was like scared, whatever. And I just meditated my way out of it. And then I realized like I can use this tool, cannabis, and I have twice, 1/2 joint. And I meditated through it. And then I started exclaiming and I was like, we are love, you know, to all my cosmic brothers and sisters of, you know, on all the realms, dimensions, and, you know, all the universes, you know, I share my love with you, you know, whatever, all the beings and stuff. And I was just proclaiming out to the universe and anybody who could hear me while I'm sitting in my room on my bed, just sharing love. And I was like, we are one, you know, to all the beings, to all the people, human beings on this earth, we are one. And I just felt like this, I have this very like psychic sensibility warming of my body where I'm very intuitive, and I have these things now where I just fucking feel stuff, you know, when something's good, I'll feel it. And I'll say something really, really like, proactive to the world. Like, you know, I was saying these different phrases when I was in this meditative state, and different feelings of warmth and love are coming under me. And then I said, we are consciousness. And dude, it was like a different vibration. I was like, oh, what is that, dude? It was crazy. But that was the only time that it showed a different kind of frequency through me. Like the heart was just like it was, you know, the heart is, it's like a pump and a force field for your frequency that you're sending your love out. So I'm like, you know, when I was doing these like not mantras, but I'm sitting there meditating, but under the super heightened sensitivity of the cannabis, because now it's like I'm so, dude, like a halfer, and I'd be just.
Well, it sounds like you understand how to get yourself to that state.
Yeah,
right?
And then I stopped
with a little bit of help.
Right, but then like the other night, it just came to me without anything. Now I'm realizing that I don't need any of that. Now I'm realizing like, fuck it, it'll come and go when it pleases now. Yeah. And then I just have to get into this thing where, you know, okay, here it is. Like, it's happening now.
Yeah.
The state of the oneness, the all, the source, love, God, consciousness, energy. It'll just happen randomly, and I'll just have to go somewhere, and I'll just have to like piece it out and sit and just sit there in silence and be it, you know. But we don't need cannabis. We don't need any alternate or external substance at all. We don't need any of that. I just realized, you know, from my experience,
to harness internal energy.
Right. It can definitely be used as the catalyst for the portal to these different altered states of consciousness. And it's definitely easier when you've experienced these different altered states of consciousness to recognize the familiarity when it happens. Like, I don't know. I'm pretty sure it happens to people when they're not under the state of different substances. But for me, it's just started happening recently. Like, I'll just be trying to go to sleep and I'll be like dozing off, and then boom, like, oh shit, I'm in this one area space now, and I'm just one with all of the universe.
Yeah. What if people actually get into those spaces, but they don't understand that they're in it?
It can be scary. I've read some stories where people have had these
and they trick themselves into maybe anxiety or paranoia.
Oh, and then they flip out like I did. Yeah, they flip out like I did. Yeah. They have these inward chanting, the arm limb movements where they can't control it. They're rolling around on the ground. They're fucking people like they think they're in psychosis. But I'll send you the link on the website that explains of the bunch of the stuff that I found. It's like, this happens. In the Eastern world, this happens way more than in the Western world. And so these people started opening up schools and clinics for when people have these different parapsychological funnies and happenings. It's because you can't treat it with Western medicine, because then you just end up in an insane asylum, but you're really totally fine. You just have like these psychic sensibilities and fucking something happened, and now you're being, juiced up with meds.
Suppressed with meds, right?
Yeah, and it doesn't work because it's not the right way to, treat the symptoms.
Very, very interesting.
Yeah, it's crazy, dude. I didn't know it was happening to me. And when that happened, then I was still like, okay, rationalize the alcohol drinking for, once. And then I'll just check right now. Oh, my phone's over there. Like, it was like, it's been probably past 120 days. I stopped counting.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I stopped counting the days of alcohol drinking, but so here you could just scroll. That has like the days of the different drugs.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah. It's kind of like
even lust.
Yeah, that's a tricky one. Not lust as in like, oh, you in your mind. But that's pretty...
Like masturbation?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, sorry, dude.
No. It is.
Yeah,
no,
it's
it's okay.
No, I just threw your phone across.
Oh, don't worry about it.
No. So it's masturbation.
Well, see, the thing about... I've even realized with... I was researching like, okay, well, what kind of... Since I have these heightened like psychic sensibility, spiritual fucking awakening...
Wait, do you believe that you're psychic?
No, I'm not psychic.
Oh, okay.
No. I'm just highly intuitive. No, I can't read your mind or anything like that.
No. That's not what we're worried about.
No. He's thinking about food. No, I'm not psychic, but I'm like at night I'll hear things I'm not supposed to hear.
You're just self-aware.
I'm super fucking
extremely.
These sensibilities of like clairvoyance, claircognizance,
right.
Not clairsentience, but like I'll hear radios. Like sometimes I'll be hearing a radio playing a song from my condo in my room down the street, and a guy's fucking like I'll be hearing it from like inside his car, not boom boom boom.
Yeah.
I'll be hearing like In the End by Linkin Park. Like I shouldn't be able to hear that. Shouldn't be able to hear a water, like someone turning on a water faucet in a unit super far away. Like you shouldn't be able to hear these types of things. The things that I hear sometimes, or a light switch go. I shouldn't be able to hear that, but I do. Start hearing all these things. I start seeing things. Very, yeah, man. Very. It all started really at the very end of.
People are gonna think you're a crazy man, though.
Oh, that's fucking.
That's fine.
They should. They should. They should. That's a really good term because a lot of people think, oh, you're crazy. It's like, fuck, man. I'd rather be crazy than normal. What's normal? It's relative.
Yeah.
But if you go into any Eastern like religion or philosophy, if you go into any Eastern country,
that's their.
You find fucking normal people like that's their norm. Yeah. You find all sorts of really, really different people, and I'm not psychic.
We've just been attuned to society, to way the society, Western society, and the way it is.
Right.
Of that's what's normal.
Right.
I mean, that's why when we go to Japan, it's like, wow, this ain't normal, but yeah, it's normal.
Yeah.
For them.
Yeah, it's just a different, pace of life. But I mean, for me, it wasn't always my pace of life. It was just like, well, here you go now, But as far as like what you're saying about the masturbation thing, when you brought that up,
yeah,
I was looking up things that hinder spirituality, and
he was at a day, by the way.
I don't even know how
it just had one day.
100 some, but it's I was like, because it's your life force energy, and so when you expel it without purpose, like you think about it, there's an egg and there's sperm. That's the most powerful fucking thing in the whole universe. It creates a whole human. Like that's the most craziest thing that humans are capable of doing, creating fucking more.
Right.
Like it's the most powerful thing, right? And so when you use these different fluids, this sacred fluid, literally, I mean, when you think about it like that, I mean, some people are so already programmed to this, porn, whatever, bullshit. It's like a normal whatever. Yeah.
Right. I mean,
I understand.
It's so easy to talk about sex on social media and sex thrown in our faces and movies and entertainment and stuff like that. It's become a normalcy,
right,
to see provocative things.
Right. And I understand that.
Yeah.
And so, I'm not saying like, oh, I've never masturbated in my life. Obviously, what the fuck?
I've never
I'm not a
touched
saint.
my own dick.
Come on, guys. Giggity, giggity. So, you know, that with that whole thing, I was researching about different foods, like, you know, coffee. Like, okay, coffee it's not something that, you know, you should be really drinking. And I was like, why? It's because, like, within an hour it can cut 40% of the blood flow to your brain. And, like, there's all these different scientific things about it. I'm like, well, fuck, you know, like, naturally I just stopped drinking coffee. Before I even found out that research. My body was just like, wake up, you're good. No more coffee. So all these things just start, like, all the things that I was serving before, and I was basically putting these on a pedestal, like the drugs and whatever, and the masturbation came later. I was like, what the fuck, really? This spirituality thing? Like, I didn't understand why. And then and then I was like, okay, whatever. I don't need that. I don't need to objectify women by, you know, watching pornographic images and getting myself off and without any purpose. I'm not creating a human. There's no intent. There's no honor in the act, you know? And then after fucking a long time, I was like, and then I figured out about this no-fap shit. I'm like, what the fuck is that? And it's like, there's a bunch of people who do this. Like, you have intercourse, you have sex with your partner or whatever. That's not a part of the, like, you know, it's not a thing you can't do. Like, oh, you can't, you know, ejaculate, you know, with your partner, man. It's no fap. We're fucking straight edge, brother. Straight edge, brother.
We keep our cum in us.
Yeah, that's not what it is. But it's just like for, you know, it's like semen retention for spiritual development and growth.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? And then I started fucking looking up videos with, like, you know, Sadhguru and all these different people. And I'm like, this is a thing. I just been doing it and I don't even know why. It's a thing. So I'm like, okay, all right, that's okay. I started seeing, like, all the things that I didn't know I was really serving. They just fell off. The alcohol, all this crazy shit just fell away. And it was like, no, you stop serving that. You're a different person now. You just left that aside and now you do this. And I don't keep this like as a day, like wake up like, fuck, I need a beer, man. I need to smoke a cigarette. Like, I just keep that as like how much money I save and how many days just to keep it. Like, it's really, that's why I say I'm not in recovery, because I feel like after that experience that night, dude, there's no fucking way I'm going to go back. There's like, it's like, switch, you're done. Yeah. All right, we're good. Wash your hands now. You're fine. You know, right. It's all good. Yeah. But
you don't have to worry about it lingering.
No, I mean, in those dreams,
your mental mind state has caused you to accept everything that you've done, and also accept that it's time to move forward.
Yeah, and through the experience, like, you went through this experience, but you needed to go through that. And now I realize, when I look back, I'm like, oh, it had to happen exactly that way. Yeah. Because I wouldn't be where I'm at now to do the things that I'm, you know, going to do in the future. And so it's just like this weird, like, okay, I see you. Like, universe is like winking at you, like, sorry, but you had to go through that shit. Now you can help people that are going through that shit too. Not that I'm going to fucking make a Facebook.
You're going to be Tony Robbins.
We're jumping around with people. Yeah.
No.
My name's Clay. And we're going to change lives.
Yeah, that's the wrong approach, I feel. A lot of people are turn around. This guy Clay is a fucking crazy guy. He's not psychic at all. I'm not. I'm totally not. Totally not.
You're just experienced.
I've just had some crazy shit happen in my life. And as well, I feel like, just to briefly go on to that, I know we're running a little bit late, but to briefly go on.
How long have we been going for?
2 hours and 25.
Holy schmoly.
To briefly talk about the sexual abuse thing. Okay. This is one thing that, like, drugs, people will find out. Your parents will find out about the drugs. They'll scold you. You fucking whatever, you know. People find out about drugs. Your friends start asking questions like, you're looking pretty skinny, bro. What's going down, man? I know you ain't running at the gym. Fucking, you know, come on. You know, why are you wearing shades? You know? Why are you wearing shades, bro? Yeah. Take your shades off. It's 7 p.m. Yeah. You're at a function that you need to be at because you haven't been to any of the functions before, but why you got shades on? Because you have bags in your eyes because you haven't been sleeping. So people will start to fucking see physically, unless you're just hoarding yourself up in a room, you know? Right. With the sexual abuse, people just hold this shit in forever, man. And so when I was 7 and 8 years old, I was repeatedly, like, sexually abused by this guy. He was a 15-year-old guy up in, like, in the neighborhood in Jigo that I lived in. And, you know, I just thought it was a normal thing. Even for a while, I was like, this is fucking, like, you know, growing up, I'm like, I guess I no one to talk to about it, because, you know, when you when you have a sexual predator like that who's, like, used to doing this thing, it's easy for them to say, I'll fucking kill you if you tell anybody. Right. You're scared as shit. I'm a 7-year-old. Fuck, I'm like, I'll fucking tell anybody, then I'm not going to tell anybody because
Right,
you're going to kill me, you know?
Right.
It sounds like I'm joking about it now because I've made peace with myself. I went for 15 years until I was 22 where I literally, like my ex-girlfriend was like, we're having problems with our relationship. And she was like, I'm not even going to be your friend anymore unless I bring you up to your mom and you tell your mom right now. Because I told like my first love and a couple my bandmates and then my other girlfriend.
Yeah.
But I didn't tell anybody in my family because I was ashamed.
Right.
Like it was my fault. It was my fucking problem.
Was it a shame when it was when it was happening, or was it shame because you said there was some form of acceptance? You thought it was normal.
Yeah, I thought it was a normal thing because it was just so like, oh, I'm at a point in my life where this shit can just happen. Like this is just I'm 7 or 8 years old, whatever. Neighborhood boy can come over and just do this, and it's like nobody knows, nobody asks questions. Like I felt like, and then people, it was like it was just a weird situation, but not ashamed at the time,
right?
Because I was just like, fuck, I don't know. Like, is this supposed to happen? I was afraid to tell somebody. I was more scared back then.
I see.
But it was like a normal thing, for like a year, and it was like really not so fucking cool, But I mean, sexual abuse is not fucking cool.
Not at all.
But 15 years went by, and it was just controlling a lot of the aspects of my life.
As in decisions that you made.
Yeah,
or?
like I wouldn't want to go get fucking food. I wouldn't want to go out and be in public and get food. I had social anxiety. I would be like afraid of, seeing different people because I would see his younger brother around. He used to work at Wendy's, and I fucking like saw him, and I was like, he's going to make fun of me. He's going to know. He's going to tell everybody he saw me. This was like, I'm like 20 years old and I'm fucking don't want to go to Wendy's because I saw this guy's younger brother. I don't know where the fuck that guy is now, but I've made my peace with him because you know what? The reality is he was probably sexually abused when he was young.
Right.
So it's like, fuck, man, it's just the cycle has to fucking break, And so I realized like there's a lot of people that aren't going to be okay with it. They're not going to have that girlfriend who on the rocks of the fucking, relationship are going to be like, hey, for real, like this might not work out, but I'm not even going to be your friend, Clay. If you don't let me drag your ass up to tell your mom, about your past 15 years ago.
Right.
And so I told my mom, she's like, I always had a feeling, and we're like crying together on the balcony. And she's like, I was like, everything was kind of okay, and it was like, you can come out about this stuff, but people they don't have somebody to look at and be like, well, fuck, like, is it okay to talk about it because they feel threatened? Maybe they're still around their attacker. Maybe, maybe there's all these different factors that come into play, and it's like, they're ashamed. Like me, I was ashamed. Like, fuck, dude, who wants to be like, yeah, I was raped by this fucking 15-year-old guy when I was 7 years old. Yeah. And so I think I'm gay.
Yeah. Wait,
nice table talk,
what made you want to come out to at least, your significant others or even
it was the first person I was ever sexually involved with. Oh. And I was like, I think this is going to like control my life, but I just got to tell you.
Right.
Like, because this happened.
Because it could have an effect on you.
Because I was just like,
with her, right?
Yeah, because I was just like, I've never done this before. I've never been in this type of situation, but this kind of shit happened to me. Right. And then, we bonded through that. And then, with my bandmates, it just got to a point where they'd be making jokes about something, not like sexual abuse or anything like that, but I would just be like, hey, that's not fucking cool, man. Like, and they'd be like, oh shit, are you okay? Like, and they started seeing some weird things go on with like the way I was acting. And I was just like, all right, guys.
Towards certain topic.
Yeah. I was like, talking about women. Like, I don't fucking like, I don't like, I just don't like that because I've been objectified as a boy, as a young boy. And it's like, man, dude, fuck. I know guys will be guys and stuff like that. And they'll talk about whatever, but it's like, fuck, man. I'm like, it just makes me really uncomfortable, And when I'm around like my close friends and with Radio Pacific, and I just had to tell them like, dude, this shit happened. Of course, they're like, oh, fucking, where's he at? Where's he at? Let's go get him. I'm like, dude, it's okay. Like, it was a long time ago. I already made peace with it. I forgave the guy, and I forgave myself for, feeling like ashamed and all this stuff. But I feel a lot of people still holding that. But they don't see that when they let that go, the whole universe lets off their shoulders and off their heart. So they're still holding every day they're going around tensed up, scared.
Well, people are looking for closure, right?
Yeah. They are, and I don't know how to give it to them, but I don't know how to give closure to somebody. I only knew how to do it my way by just time, I guess, but it's hard. It's a hard topic to talk about, but if we talk about it, and I just want to let everybody know, it's okay to talk about it. It's okay. You don't have to feel shame. You don't have to feel shame about like speaking up about domestic violence. in your household, or about, wanting to kill yourself. I've had an uncle that, hung himself in last year. I had my friend who jumped off a cliff last year, and it's like, fuck, man. Fuck. Like, there's these things that they happen and you're like, okay, could I have done this, right? That's the one thing everybody's like, could I have done this, whatever. So
you start rationalizing.
Yeah, you start thinking about that, and that's not really what I mean. I know that everybody has their problems, and they're gonna do what they're gonna do. At the end of the day, you can talk to somebody about something, but they're gonna do what they want to do.
Right.
They're gonna do what they want to do. You can talk to somebody out of going and buying drugs, but if they want to, then they're gonna do that, and that's just up to them. But
like you said, sexual abuse is something that's not the easiest to talk about.
No, it's not. Right. And so for me,
especially who too, right?
I just bottled myself up for a long time, 15 years, just walking around, being the life of the party, smiles, voices, whatever, this and this and that, the tricks and whatever, pulling tricks out of my bag.
Right.
But nobody knew this fucking.
Go home and take off the mask.
Yeah, and it's like, just live with it, and then it's a normal thing. Fuck, nobody really knows, whatever. 5 people know. Yeah. Fuck, And then 6 people know because I had another girlfriend, It's oh, and then she finally was like, you need to tell your mom this is fucking ruining your life, pretty much. And she's probably going to listen.
Did you see it ruining your life?
No. But she did. She's like, you don't want to go out. You don't want to do this. You don't want to do that. And it's like, what is it? And I just always come back to like, I'm ashamed because I was like lying to her about smoking cigarettes. But that was like one small thing that was just like, nah, not really. You're just fucking lying. Like you're really like it's like a placeholder for something else, trying to give it an excuse. Cause I was afraid like you're going to tell your parents and they're going to be like, why didn't you tell me? And that's what was happening. My dad's like, why didn't you say something? Like, dude, shut up. Like, why didn't I say something about the 15-year-old guy who said he was going to fucking kill me? Like, it's just not, when you're 7, you don't think about these things. Like, it's just it's a lot harder to deal with. So I can't say like, oh, for sure, this is why I didn't tell you. But at the time I was like, oh, fuck, seems like it's just normally happening. Like, fuck, man.
And apparently it is normally happening.
But that's the problem. That's why, I wanted to talk about it, because it's like, fuck, every day in the paper. Why are we hearing about it every day in the paper?
Every single day.
Every single day.
Yeah. And there's a new scandal coming from the Catholic Church.
It's crazy.
With sexual abuse and
crazy.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Why are we hearing it every day?
And why?
Like you said, it's become normal. People are numb to it. The fact that it's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, people are speaking up about it, but not the victims. They themselves.
A lot of people are like, I don't want to talk. It's okay. Never mind. I don't want us to have any drama. I just want it to go away. I just want it to fucking be done. I don't want to bring it up. I don't want to ruin that person's life. I don't want to do anything. It was probably my fault anyway. That's the one thing where I'm like, dude, I know women that have been in relationships where they're like rationalizing why. Well, I think it could have been a part of my problem that I was doing this. Like, no, nobody deserves to be fucking beat like that,
Yeah.
You can't rationalize and back up the person who is abusing you on sexually or physically or anything. Like, I understand why people have that in their mind and they go through it. And some people make it out of those relationships and some people don't. But I understand. And I'm not saying you're wrong for believing that. Like, whatever you feel is that you have to go through it on your own journey. But I'm here to tell people, like,
you don't have to.
You don't have to like bottle it up, man. Because not everybody would be comfortable with saying like, okay, you're a guy who is, like, yeah, sexually abused by an older guy, like double your age.
Right.
Well, that seems like something to be afraid about, but it's like, fuck it. After that spiritual awakening, is like, I'm an open book, man. You want to ask me something? Great. Like, it doesn't matter. Anything anybody thinks about me, it doesn't matter. It's okay. So if I can help anybody from any perspective, from my experience that I've had, I'm going to do it.
You've broken yourself down yourself.
I'm going to do it. I'm going to help anybody I can with whatever assistance I can, because the experience that I have shouldn't be wasted on just me telling story. It should be like, fuck, dude, help. Just help.
It's powerful shit, Clay.
Thanks,
powerful shit, dude.
Just want to get it out, bro, because people need fucking help. People need somebody to be like, I could just hit you up on Instagram, like add you and send you a message and be like, hey, can we talk about something? Yeah. Give you my number. Let's fucking send voice memos on WhatsApp, because that's a great way to communicate.
Tie it back in. Way to tie that back in. Yeah.
It's something that's so easily accessible. People don't have to go and enroll themselves, pay for therapy, pay all this money, be afraid, lie to their parents that they're going to therapy when they're paying out of, their pocket, whatever. People are afraid. They just want to suppress it. They want to shut it out, but they're walking around with all this pain and anguish and fucking sorrow and guilt and shame on their backs. And they're just going through life and they don't know that they can just lift it off and everything else opens up.
Yeah. And
I didn't until I did, and I had help from my ex-girlfriend. So thank you very much. But, yeah. It's like, it's a process that, if anybody needs help, fuck, I'll try to help out because it's not fun, but I've been through it. I've been through a lot of shit, and any of the stuff that you heard tonight, I mean, if you need help with that, fuck, I got your back. I love you. The universe loves you. You just have to want to, open up and be okay with change, because that's the one thing that is going to help you in the long run.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
I did not expect any of this to come out of any of this to come out of this conversation. And I think what you're saying tonight is extremely powerful. And you're right. People do need to hear it. People do need to be okay with speaking up and saying what's on their mind, on their hearts, things that's happened to them.
Right.
It may not be the easiest decisions, but the weight lifted off the shoulders is probably greater than having to live with it.
You don't know how much weight it is until you let it go. You really don't. Like, you'll be living with it, and then when it's gone, you're like, I feel like I could backflip. If I knew how to backflip, I would fucking backflip. That's how good you feel, That's how good you feel, man.
So. We've been going long.
Yep.
We didn't. I know you're huge on conspiracy theories, man.
Oh, we'll get to that next time.
We didn't even get to touch on it, and
it's okay.
We're gonna do this sooner than later.
For sure.
And keep doing good work, bro.
Thanks,
I mean, I think the path that you've placed yourself on is very admirable.
Thank you, bro.
Considering your story, right? And hey, man, there's always time for change.
Always.
There's always room for change.
Mm-hmm.
It's only up to you if you really want to change it, right? And you are the epitome of that.
Thanks, bro. There's a lot of people that are on their journey. Everybody's on their own level of their journey, and it's about just helping each other for the greater good, man. Sharing your story, sharing your help, because it's all about love, That's all there is. It's just there's only room for love. Anything else? No room for that yet.
For sure.
Thanks,
brother. Yeah, I'm glad we finally did this.
Dude, it's great. We gotta get together soon.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, even offline. We'll just meet up and talk and stuff.
For sure.
Anything you want to put out? Promote? How people can follow you, contact you?
Man, if you need help with anything like social anxiety, with abuse, with addiction, whatever, just send me a message on Instagram, and then I'll add you, and we can get your number, and we can talk on WhatsApp, and then we can probably meet up if you're comfortable with that. As far as, I mean, not to take.
Where can people follow you?
At Clayton Leonidas,
okay.
Spelled like the Spartan King, but that's not what I'm named after. I was just named after the doctor who delivered me. My parents were stoners. So
really?
They were like, "What's your name?" Okay, that's my middle name. So, yeah.
Of a doctor you never met.
Never met him. Yeah, never met that guy. But that's the story. Clayton Leonidas, and I just want to say it's all about love. It's all about love, and it's all about sharing and gratitude and respect and loyalty and honesty. So that's all we have space for, and I think Guam's going in that direction. There's a lot of change happening, and with it starts in the household, and when the household can't be a system where you have people that are kind of like you can't function with their, like, even with my dad, he's set in his ways. I got to branch out, and you can create your net of people, and you can really you can make differences with your village, and then your your community, and we can be a huge net here on Guam that can cast our reaches out to other places and offer our love and respect to everybody, because that's what it's really about. We're all one,
I love it. It.
All right, brother.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Hey,
yes.
Brian's here.
Thank you.
What's up, Brian?
Thank you, Brian.
Hey, what's up?
Thank you, Matt.
Matt.
You guys are so
Brian
cute.
loves you. Matt loves you. I love you. And Master Random, thank you for listening.
All right.
Clayton Leonidas on the podcast. Yes. Oh, my God. It even has my name on it. That's
yes,
awesome.
it does. I got you, bro.
How did you know to bring it? This is awesome. Yeah. So peace out. See you later next time.
That's the leaders.